Oh shit. What is up, everybody? What's going on? Guess who? Man, you know who it is. Of course you know who it is. You're listening to our podcast. You went on iTunes, you went to our page, you did something to get to the Six Borough podcast. Just talking shit. Guys, let's get into these advertisements. That way we can get right into the episode. This is a good one. You're going to really enjoy it. First up, we got Eric Ott, one of our hosts over at RCG Mortgage. If you are balling out of control and you're getting ready to buy your first house, or if you already balled out of control and bought a house and are looking to refinance it, get in contact with Eric. You can call him, you can text him, however you want to do it, send a carrier pigeon, whatever. You can hit him up at 631-774-1783. Get you pre-qualified, answer any questions you got, because I'm sure you're going to have a lot. Buying a house is a fucking crazy process. Eric will help you out, though. Again, you can get him at 631-774-1783. And to continue right in that vein, if you are looking to buy a house, maybe you need a survey of that new property done. Or maybe you already own a house and you need to have a survey done. Whatever you need, call Municipal Land Survey. You can reach them at 631-345-2658. They will get you hooked up. We've used them a bunch of times. They are awesome. They do the right thing. Super professional. Can't even state enough how awesome these guys are. Again, that's 631-345-2658. Last but not least, our boys over at AS Engineering Services. You can reach them at 631-560-0259 or on the interconnected webs at www.asengineeringservices.com. Back to the buying a house thing. Maybe you're buying a house. Maybe you want to do a little work on it. Maybe you call up the boys over at AS Engineering Services. They will hook you up. Maybe you just want to take a look at some of the awesome projects that they do. Go to their website. I'm a big nerd for this shit. I love it. Some of the projects they've done, fucking amazing. They are a full-scale architectural engineering firm. They do residential, commercial, new builds, old builds, rebuilds, builds, whatever you want to do, they'll hook you up. Again, that's 631-560-0259. Guys, this episode we have DJ Theo. If you don't know who DJ Theo is, you must be living under a rock for the last 20 years or so. Theo is a Long Island legend. He's had residencies all over the island. He's worked at some of the biggest clubs, some of the biggest bars. He's done festivals, parties, you name it. This guy's been involved with it. We had a great conversation with Theo. I've known Theo for a really long time now. Awesome dude, super smart. We talked a lot about, well, we talked some about nightlife, some about music. We actually talked a shit ton about Netflix and binge culture. It's really an interesting conversation. I hope you enjoyed as much as we did. All right, guys, we're live. Let's get into it.
Six Borough Podcast. D-Rock.
Yarbs.
Eric.
And our guest.
Theo.
Yes, sir.
That's me. I thought we were going to have a little girl come on and do an introduction or something.
The Vanna White.
I wouldn't be mad at that at all.
Yo, on the real, Vanna White's like 65?
She's still looking pretty good, right?
Yeah, she can still get it. She
Yeah.
can definitely still get it.
I haven't seen what she looks like.
Dude,
lately.
Yeah, no, she still looks pretty goddamn good. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, she's like a
you get her
legitimate grandma.
Yeah, she's up there, and she can...
Vanna White, 2018.
Yeah, we need to see her this year because it's got to be in the last 4 months.
Yeah, but all those pics aren't bad, right?
Yeah, I mean,
considering.
for someone that's her age, like...
How old is she? She's grandma status, right? Holy shit.
And she's still working?
Yeah, she's still doing... She's
That's
still
recent?
turning those...
Do you know she has a complete clothesline that does well?
Yeah,
and she has all these like little
side
mom and pop
business,
type
yeah,
side companies.
yeah.
So I mean, she really hey, turning letters. She did the right, you know.
When you said clothesline, I immediately imagined her in the WWE.
See, I don't
She's
think
Ronda
that works.
Rousey's coach. That's a secret I'm here to tell you. You don't know, but deep down I do management for the female side, and I'm doing the theme song for the new Ronda Rousey Rowdy Piper. Did anybody understand that she bit that logo? Am I the only one that was mad about that, or am I just too WWF? Like
she was given permission, actually.
Yeah,
she was.
I think the idea was
because the font is different. If you want to get into the intricacies of it, it is a different font, but it's the same color and the concept and the ringer tee she had. So
I believe that there was a connection. Her judo coach and the MMA coach is a guy named Gene LaBelle, and he knew Rowdy Piper.
Oh, okay.
And they met, and he gave
Bless
co-signed on because her nickname when she was fighting was Rowdy Ronda, and now that she's in the WWE, it was like you're good, like you were allowed to carry the torch kind of thing.
Yeah,
I'm a nerd, so I read a whole article about it.
No, that's big. I'm a nerd, and I know that I hate the WWE and love WWF. So
I understand that.
It drove me crazy when And I understand about wildlife, but I was.
They could be just WWF.
It was just and then I can't stand how in the Andre thing the other day. If you guys see the Killer, did you see the documentary?
I didn't see it.
I watched the last half of it. I didn't get to see
dope.
the beginning. It's awesome.
But Mean Gene says WWE like they were coached by McMahon. You can't talk about that time and not say WWF.
Yeah,
I don't. I understand that you can't market stuff, but you could say it was the WWF.
So I didn't.
So I didn't understand why he's like, so in the WWE, Andre was coming up, and I'm like, it wasn't WWE back then.
That's not what it was.
Yeah,
please stop.
It was those big yellow letters.
It was. Yeah, with the red.
Yeah, it was. With
it was. It was brilliant. I mean, what they did for marketing artists, let's say entertainers.
Yeah.
They were on another level at that era because you got to think the only other, and if we want to talk about sports entertainment, let's consider wrestling a sport with football and basketball. Mm-hmm. The only other thing at that time that was putting that much effort into individuals was the NBA, was Stern, and that's how he started with the Larry and and the Magic and before even Michael. But I'm saying one word name people, and there was like a little bit of vibe around them. They had a costume which was their jersey. WWF made it even more, the old school of wrestling concept of an artist, an entertainer with a concept and a storyline. That was a lot for back then if you're thinking about it. Like other than just, they hit TV and cable TV with a whole mindset what to do. That was pretty impressive, I think, for a bunch of wrestlers and
they changed production.
Yeah.
They changed production value and everything because once you mention that, it actually started making sense because I was a huge basketball fan growing up at the same time as I was a huge wrestling fan. But early 90s basketball, the production value changed. Like I remember watching the Knicks, when used to have the Saturday games on Channel 4. Everybody remembers that intro.
Yeah.
Like they used to do a whole show. It was the entrance when they'd introduce the starting lineup. The lights would dim. They'd have the laser lights going off. They'd introduce every player. I could still hear it. And starting shooting guard, John Starks. They'd run out. Everybody had a handshake that they did.
Yeah.
Then they'd rip their fucking their warm up suits off. The tearaway warm up suits. And then they just shit on their opponents. They'd be like, and now, if it was, yeah, exactly. They'd give them no love, and then they had the Nick City Dancers and all that. But in the early '80s, they weren't doing that.
No.
Well, that's what. Well, I guess I'm talking about wrestling was the '80s, mid '80s. So I'm saying the NBA did the. Now I'm going to date myself, but you don't remember the Fantastic commercials, maybe. That was a big deal. It was NBA Fantastic, and it was. Phil Collins, Missed Again, or was it Genesis? What is it? Is that a Phil Collins song or Missed Again? Hey, I missed again. You say I missed again. And it would have all these highlights, basketball highlights, and then it would be NBA action is fantastic, and someone would say it.
Yeah, I don't remember that.
And at the same time, and this is what I mean about marketing. The concept now, which I don't think any kid understands, when you say, "Oh man, LeBron posterized them. He posted them." They sold posters. The best dunk would get on a poster. You would go to your local, Five and Dime or whatever you want to call it, stationery store, and you would buy the NBA poster of, Sean Kemp dunking.
I used to have them all.
Yeah, but
I used to have them all.
But you would,
Oh, Steve, what are you doing? You're killing us.
Just 2 videos at once, Steve?
Hey, we're gonna fire you. This sucks.
Yeah, and then they started using music, which is what I mean. They started obviously spending.
Kill this, Steve. This is terrible. Kill this.
So you could do NBA Fantastic / Missed Again, Genesis or Phil Collins. But they started taking it to this level, putting music to it, coming up with a slogan, and then posters at home for name recognition.
Right.
So, it's funny to me what wrestling did that early on, because NFL wasn't doing it like that. Yeah, they had Mean Gene and those kind, Too Tall Jones, but not a lot of them. They weren't like, as under,
Oddly enough, what changed the NFL was the XFL. That's when they changed it. They took so many production things from the XFL, which was Vince McMahon. And that's when they started to focus on individual players. They changed the way the cameras were. The NFL was the XFL
Skycam thing.
Yeah, the Skycam, the flyover cam. That's when the NFL started doing. Once the XFL went under, they were like, "Yo, all these ideas are great. We're stealing every one of these ideas, and we're gonna make billions off of it."
Yeah, it's good. It was just good to see. I mean, if you look back, I know wrestling always got a bad rap, but for what they were doing back then, it was pretty impressive. It was impressive marketing, though, and branding.
Yeah.
You just look at that as a business angle. It was pretty impressive to see what they did and how many characters they had. It was like,
oh my God.
It wasn't like, I mean, we can go into the dragon and all those, the junkyard dogs were the good ones, but there was like, the snake,
the Brooklyn Brawler,
Superfly Jimmy Snuka. Oh, he was one of the best.
Awesome.
Jeez.
I was thinking about this the other day. Remember Rick the Martel?
Yeah.
The model.
He used to carry around that, like, it looked like a basketball pump that he would spray his cologne and shit. He'd spray people in their eyes with it. That guy was ridiculous.
Was this that guy Duke the Dumpster, Druzy or something like that?
I don't remember that one.
I'm trying to think where he was from. He was actually...
You're going back. It's like 78. It was like 5 or something.
And the Mountie was real.
The Mountie,
Yeah. That's fun.
Oh, there's Big Boss Man.
Big Boss Man,
Yeah. No, but it was good what they did. I mean, entertainment. When you're young and you're watching that, and there wasn't anything else on, obviously, like that. It definitely caught your eye. It's amazing, though. Really, you see that show and you're watching on Andre, and they went back to his town because there's no old pictures of him, and they were asking around using his name and having a French, someone to talk to the people, and they finally found where his brother and pictures, and there's a chair. Like,
I saw the chair was huge.
Right? His mom.
What are you guys talking about?
It's a
I'm
documentary.
going back to the Andre. It's a big deal.
I didn't know about this.
Oh, this is like an HBO.
Just
big deal. Yeah, they've been promoted for a couple months.
Oh, I'm fucking up.
No, but it was a great documentary on Andre.
Was Sunday the first night it was on, or is this?
I think it was recent.
I just saw it last night, which is ironic. It was late night.
I caught the last.
I only missed like the first 5, but I was dying to see it so much. I didn't want to wait or do the old DVR thing.
Yeah, I think it just came out maybe this past weekend.
Yeah, it was great. I really thought it was good.
Arnold, pull up Arnold Schwarzenegger's Instagram, Steve. He had a picture. Somebody else had shared it today. It's when he was like his biggest in Conan. And it's a picture of him next to Andre the Giant, next to one of the big basketball players that was around at the time.
Oh, I love to see that
and you could just see like Arnold.
Conan was huge.
Yeah,
I mean back then
he's a big dude, but you just see him next to Andre, you're just like, holy.
He really was amazing. And back then they had all these like fake rumors.
Shit.
Is that Wilt?
Yeah,
Wilt.
Oh, because Wilt was in Conan.
Yes.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yo, that movie's a great movie.
It's so good.
They went deep back then. The concept of that and the idea.
I feel like you couldn't get away with it now. Like when you watch those old Conan movies,
I agree.
My wife is just like, they would never let anyone make a movie like that now. It's as
well, he pushes the girl around. He got in trouble. That was the first
Do not
time
talk to them. They're sluts.
Yeah. No, but the animal, he punched a horse.
Yes.
And it was a legitimate first like Hollywood lawsuit against animals. It was a big deal back then. But yeah,
It's funny you guys say that because today at work, my boss, for whatever reason,
punched a horse.
yeah,
that's weird. Amazing. Let's go to YouTube.
He was pulling up old Family Feud like things where they embarrass themselves.
What he did was crazy. What was that guy's name?
I can't remember his name. Richard Dawson.
Richard Dawson.
Yeah.
But he used there was a lady.
He was in an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie. If you want to go back,
was he really?
Yeah, he was in the one where he sits in and they shoot him into the land where the opera guy sings.
Total Recall.
Running Man. No, Running Man.
Running Man.
Oh.
Running Man.
But anyway, he's at the end where they got to guess like 5 things or whatever. So he's telling this lady like what's going on. He's like, come here, and he gives her a kiss. He's like, that's for good luck. And she's like, ah. And then like they couldn't get through it. He was like laughing from something before, and he kisses her again. And I'm like, this is the creepiest shit I've ever seen. And it's like their late 70s. I'm like, they couldn't do that now. Like that was an acceptable thing. Like, I'm just gonna kiss you because I can.
Watch where he grabs the girls on the top. On the top, he was grabbing. Like the hotter they were, the tighter with the grab. But that was he was blurring that line on the back. Everybody was very touchy. Like the touchy feeliness to me is kind of sad. Not that kind of touchy feeling, but I mean touching someone now.
I thought your name was Theo, not Harvey.
Yeah, like but like students and like you can't just be.
You can't console somebody.
Which I think is a real shame because I think some kids don't have as much attention and a nice you know what I'm saying, all in a tasteful manner. I mean, you just can't even be like they suggest you and teach you in college now not to even go near it. And I get it, but I just think that the human touch is so important. Like for a puppy to raise an animal to anything, and just like a kid, like to put your hand on someone's arm, and be like, "Hey, you did a great job today. I can't wait." And it's like I'm coaching my daughter's basketball team, and I find myself like I'm not in the school system, but I'm like, wow, that was great. And then I'm like, oh my God, there's a parent mad that and I'm not getting that. But at the same time, my wife works in a school system, and I'm like, am I allowed to? She's like, well, listen, you're not in a school, but we suggest not touching. And I'm like, it's so odd to me to not have any.
It's terrible.
It's
terrible that we're at a state where we have to actually second guess ourselves. Like, most people are well-intentioned.
I believe
a hug,
that.
a tap on the shoulder is just that.
I believe it.
It's become such a nerfed world that you have to worry about, like, touching, one of your players on the shoulder could be misinterpreted by some Looney Tune. Like,
well, it seems like the bad apples in our time have taken over.
Yeah.
So in other words, obviously there's pedophiles and horrible people, and that's why we do this. And I get that. I understand that. But then everything changes for that. You're allergic to peanuts. 3% of America is allergic to peanuts, yet none of my kids are allowed to have anything healthy, peanut-oriented in school. No. I can't bring in any type of homemade thing or even buy it from a bakery.
God forbid a peanut shell might get in one piece.
You have to have Entenmann's, which is the worst junk to eat, or anything packaged in plastic that's not BPA. It blows me away how non-health conscious we are because of a small percentage. And I know I have friends that have kids, that have allergies, and I get it, but it's almost like we don't want to be involved in the problem. We don't want to give a needle to any kid. It's a little odd, though, to me, based on the percentage of how many people.
If you go into classrooms, I work in a school district, and you'll see, like, outside the classroom, it's like, this is a peanut-free classroom.
What?
You should put up, should put up signs like this is
like a drug-free zone.
Yeah.
Peanut-free.
Well, it lets you know because you can't bring it into the room if there's an allergic kid there. It's like
my daughter's pre-K, and I asked her.
And the air is banned.
I said, can I get the parents? Can you make my daughter be an outcast and put her at a table? I will sign off for her to sit by herself. A couple parents, I was saying this to the head person of the pre-K over there, and she said, well, we've had a request in the past, and there's a couple parents were like, I would do that. So there are parents that you really put my child away from everybody. Like, in other words, don't make the peanut allergy an outcast. Make my child the outcast, because at that age, they could care less. Right. They just want to eat the peanuts.
The Nutella sandwich.
Yeah, they want the Nutella sandwich. They don't really care about where they sit, who I'm with. There's no social aspect to it. So sit her in the corner over there. She'll eat it. I mean,
she'll be happy.
But I bet you I'll have 20 kids over there, and there'll be 2 kids sitting over there.
It'll be the 2 kids with the peanut allergies.
You should make a sign for your booth, like this is a peanut-free DJ booth.
Oh my God, I could see that. I'm like, I don't care what you do, what you sniff, I have like one rule: give me 3 feet by 1.5 feet, and don't smoke cigarettes in my booth. I don't care what you do. You do heroin, lines. I don't give a crap what you do. Just don't do that, and don't touch me, and you can go crazy. You can have sex. I don't care. Whatever.
So we can't touch you on the shoulder and say good set.
You can, you know what it is? It's like people will like get it like right into you, over you, and they'll be like, it's the drink, and then I get. To this day, I still get yelled at from every owner. Like, did you have to have that many people up there? And I'm like, I don't. People are coming out to have a good time. I'm not the fun police. Like, if they want to come up and have a good time and say hello, we try and get them in. Hey, take a. Like, I like the people want to say they came out. They're spending their money. All they want to do is come in for a little bit, say what's up, yuck it up.
Hi.
I mean, I'm the one that's being interrupted, which is fine, and it does affect the day. Like, if you're constantly being interrupted a little bit, you're trying to make a song, you'll miss the mix out of something, not mix it like mess it up, but like, oh, I really wish I would have got out of that. But the thing is I'd rather in my mind thank all the people or talk to everyone that came out, because I think it's nice to have people come out and support.
They're there to see you.
Yeah, well, yeah, and it's nice to support that. And I understand there's equipment. That's the thing, though, is they're coming over you and dropping it on the $2,000 one CDJ. There's 4 of them. They got 8K of just CD players there. Like, I can understand the sound guy's like, yo, get this girl out of here, or guy out of here. But it's funny. Eric saw a lot of that.
I
right?
was the fun police for a couple of years at Neptune's when I would stand on the steps and like. You always had the normal crowd, so I knew who was supposed to be up there, and I knew who wasn't. And then sometimes you get like an oddball that would come up, and they'd be like, "No, I'm really good friends with DJ Theo," and I'd be like, "How well do you know?" "I know him real well for years." I'm like, "Well, what's his last name?" Well, I don't know. I'm not super good friends with him, but I know his last name. What's his? Give me a name. What's his wife's name? What's Theo's first name? Tell me what Theo's first name is. And they're like, oh,
DJ.
DJ. I'm I'll let you up for a minute, but that's it. You get 1 minute. Say hello.
It's not an easy. People like Anthony used to help out.
Yeah.
And he got a bad rap, and I get it. He was very hard, and but it's not a fun thing to be a middleman for people. And
no, it's difficult.
It's like because people. I get it. But.
And at the end of the day, you're there to work.
But
and it's nice to say hi to everyone, but some people want to come up and they want to be part of the party. Then they're like girls, and they're like, "Oh, I'm gonna look. There's girls dancing in front of the stage. Then there's girls dancing in front of the stage."
You're right.
Some of them shouldn't be dancing. Some of them shouldn't be dancing in front of the stage.
I don't judge. I'll take anyone dancing over now. I know people make fun of people dancing, but it's great to be free to me to dance. So even if you stink, who cares? You're having fun. Life is so short to not want to me. Oh, look they don't know how to, listen, they're having fun,
There was a video somebody shared on Facebook a week or so ago about, I think it was in Spain, an outdoor show, and somebody came up and reached over. I think they gave the DJ a high five, and then they leaned on the table and they pulled the whole table and all of the equipment over. It was an outdoor festival. And it was actually a pretty well-known DJ, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, wow.
But all the music went off, and I was just like, oh man, I don't know, I don't know what I would do.
The worst I've ever seen. I was with Tiesto. I was opening up for him closing for him at Exit. It was one time I didn't open up. I did 4 times there, and packed, 6,500 people. All four floors were open. A guy comes up, and this is when we're playing records. So we had records. Reans up to say hello to him, pulls it off, so it's in front of everyone. And he was, yo, man, you can't do it. You can't do it. Put it right back on. And this wasn't even Tiesto. This was the Tiesto Oakenfold prodigy. Tiesto just had Silence out. His album just dropped, the first, album. So he was getting there, but not, but it was just, imagine that on a massive, massive system like that.
Like that, and just so many people. Ugh.
And, I'm sure, thank God there wasn't Instagram. It would have been like, what's Tiesto
that would
just
have been
messed
everywhere.
up.
That would have been everywhere.
I was just thinking that you'll have you'll have half a crowd of wanting to come up and say hello, and if you don't say hello, then you're dick. But if you're saying hello and you miss a beat or something, you have trolls on the internet Theo fucked up on this song at 44 seconds in and critiquing you.
You have to have a thick the stuff people send me that say stuff and everything. If you don't have a thick skin being in this business or any type of entertainment or anything in front of people, you just won't make it because everybody says something and everybody has their opinion of something or where you should be or what you should be playing, and you can never make anybody happy. That's the main thing. It's just tough.
With social media now too, it lets the peanut gallery sort of
whoa, easy on the peanuts. We just went through this.
Lets that peanut gallery hurl insults from nowhere. You usually don't know who they are or whatever, and it's we get that from fighting too. People are like, "Oh, watch your list for you suck," and I'm like, okay, all right, maybe sorry I'm not as good of a fighter as you are, but all right, whatever. But like you said, you just got to ignore them and get that thick skin.
Yeah, you don't. If you get into it, then you give everybody the power. For some reason, but there are comments with anything, obviously I don't know enough about MMA, but I guess people have certain styles and moves, right, that they hone and make theirs, right? I guess so. If somebody's doing something that you don't like to train or do, and you're like, oh, this guy's always doing like a kick move or something like that, if that's what that guy likes to do, I don't know how you could be upset with that guy because that's what he likes to do. You could do it, like you said, your way, I guess, whatever that might be, hitting more or whatever. But I mean, it's the same thing with music. Is like if somebody's like a legitimate techno head and they're mad you're playing vocals, I don't, and then they come out to see you and then they're mad that they heard song. Like, I don't know how you could be mad when, where have you been if you didn't know what the guy kind of played before?
Well, to me, I think all that stuff comes from the same place. I think that all comes from people. Whoa.
Who was that?
I'm not sure. Steve, who?
So we're looking at a video of somebody coming up to shake the DJ's hand on a big stage, and he just tips over the whole DJ table.
And that's an outside festival, so that
that was.
But thank God everybody could see what happened or move. But the guys in the back were already writing.
Oh wow, we got a new angle on this video. Oh, he pulled it.
He pulled it. He was getting down.
So some drunk idiot who didn't realize.
Oh, that guy! Look at! He's definitely.
I love the comment. That looks expensive. Yeah, that's rough.
Nice say it. I'll take that. thanks.
Wow.
God, that's brutal.
Theo, what I was going to say is like,
to
your point, what you were saying about these people that complain and stuff like that, and the comparison to MMA. In my opinion, I think it all comes from the same place. Like, it's people who are mad that they're not doing anything with their lives, and you're doing it. You know what I mean? Like,
I could see it. Listen, if you spend your money and you go out and you want to hear something, I get that. Like, I understand that. But if you're going to see something and you kind of know what that is, I mean, I guess
you can't.
If you go to a movie and you don't like the way Justice League was, I get it. And if you spent your $18 for it, whatever. I can't say that movie wasn't at least somewhat entertaining, but was it as good as Iron Man? No. Was it as good as Civil War? No. But you could say that there was a lot of energy spent into that. Now, DC does things a certain way. It is completely different from Marvel. So I don't go watch the DC films thinking, oh, I hope this looks like Captain America, because they don't have that rationale. They go for a storybook angle. So I'm just giving an example of, like, yes, it wasn't as interesting, I guess, as the Marvel, I think, and it wasn't handled that right way. But I got to look back and say, okay, but I see what their vision was, and in a whole, it was an entertaining film. I wish it was a little bit better, blah 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 blah. But the other thing of like you're saying, oh, that sucks, or you suck, or I don't know how constructive that is. And in other words, what I hear a lot, which is a big thing about Long Island, and it's so sad to me because, and you were a part of it, and all you guys were, where we had a lot of nightclubs out here. We had a lot of stuff going on, and a lot of people that wanted to own nightclubs, which I think is a big difference. An owner that wanted to own a nightclub. I don't mean a restaurant where you clear the tables in the night and you have a DJ there. And that's fine. I do those kind of places too because we have to do that. But I'm saying that we had a really good nightlife area around here. And now I hear, oh, I'll go to Output. Okay, Output is amazing. Spun in Output. I love Output. I love Panther Room. I love all the guys out there. That is Brooklyn. That's considered DJ Mag and Mix Mag's one of the top 50 in the top 50 clubs in the world. It's ironic that we live out on the island, which is 4 counties: Kings County, Queens County, Nassau County, and Suffolk County.
Even though they don't want to admit they're part of Long Island,
which is fine. They didn't take geography or anything in school or have their local economics class. But the point is that it is great that Brooklyn's there, and we have that so close to us. And Manhattan, I think one of the best cities in the world. Mm-hmm. But, and this is my big but, for the biggest city in the world, it blows me away that Manhattan doesn't have 8 banging, dance-oriented parties. And I mean a techno party, a tech house party, a house party, a trance party, an EDM party, and a trap dub bass. Yeah. So I can't believe, with all the people I know, all the DJs and all the promoters, all the venues, that people aren't trying to get together and do what they want to do. Mm-hmm. So it's like, oh, like Long Island's done. You hear that now. Oh, Long Island's done. There's nothing out here. I'm going to go to Brooklyn. Okay, well, Brooklyn has a couple clubs, which is great, but Manhattan, our major city, which to me should be blowing away Nassau and Suffolk County and Queens, whatever. they don't even have a ton of parties. So if we're just going to look at it unjudgmentally, right? If that's even a word. I mean, I'm an English major. I don't know if that's a word. But
it is
you would then weigh it and say, well, if Manhattan, one of the major cities in the world, listen, I know New York City's 5 boroughs, but I'm just saying Manhattan in general, which we know is a center of, everything.
Everybody says the city.
But I'm being honest.
Yeah.
Like, I'm saying the borough of Manhattan is it. I can't believe there's not more going on, and there's not Mr. Manhattan. We can't pick on him. But, it just blows me away that we don't have that. So I'm really surprised that when people dog the island, when I mean our area, Nassau, Suffolk County, I'd say more, that there's not a mirror held up to me the best area in the world, I would say top 5 spots, Prague, Manhattan, Japan, that kind of stuff. It's just sad to me because I think that we get dogged a lot. But at the same time, I don't know if in our backyard there's a ton of great stuff going on. When I mean backyard, I mean
right
into the boroughs.
What I heard, I'm not big on that scene, but I have friends that are, and I've heard that they say that these festivals are what killed a lot of it.
It did, but that's still big money, and I understand if you're spending your money for a $150, $200 ticket and seeing a lot of stuff. I just mean the basis of your local. You can't always spend that kind of money. You can't always have the visuals, and it's not always nice outside in our area. So let's think. We're lucky. God, even in the summer, I'm dying when it rains, and we only have 15 weeks. And 5 of those, we might have rain over the weekend. So all the rest of the time, we need indoor spots. So, I'm with you on the fest. Listen, I love that right now there's a 5,000-person, event space over in Brooklyn, over in, what's it called? What's the spot? You know what I mean?
Output or
wait. Yeah,
the outdoor one, the indoor.
Yeah,
output?
Swedish House Mafia heard is going to be there. They're doing an Elro party. That's great. And I again, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10,000 people could be there. There is 1.6 million people in Suffolk County, 1.48 in Nassau County. Queens has what, 2.8 or something,
yeah, something like that.
And Brooklyn. But we have millions of people. I don't think we're tapping into enough of them.
What do you think is the entertainment dollars?
And if I didn't work for a radio station for a long time and say, oh yeah, I work for Party 105, I'm like, what is that? Or I have an event over at Fire Island. Wait, where's Fire Island? I'm still to this day hear that. Or I've never been out to Montauk. Okay, that's fine. You don't have to be, but then that shows me that everything we do in all these type of events aren't touching everyone and aren't hitting everyone, and there's nothing wrong with that, but it shows me that there's so much more open, and we need new ways, I guess, to get people, which means if there were more parties, I'm saying there would be more, because maybe they're saying, I don't like that kind of music. I get that.
Right.
I just like trap. Okay, cool, you like trap. There should be a trap party every week in the city.
What do you think is the reason behind that? Why isn't there one?
I really think that there's not owners anymore that really want to own nightclubs. I think that mindset of an owner that wants to own a nightclub and wants to be there and puts his energy into that, you need to have that excitement. And a lot of the guys I know left that world that were, let's say, ready to open up the next nightclub, and they opened up a restaurant where they tackle it as a nightclub, they promote it like a nightclub, but they're saying, we don't want to do this. But then next thing I know, they have a DJ there, and they, and all the things of what you would consider what a nightclub is.
Right.
Yeah, guarantee you have sit-down food and eating and everything, but if you're having... Look at their flyer. They have flyers. On or social media flyers. Digital flyers. You are technically kind of still doing that, and even all the bars around here do it. So I love how all the bar guys, and I'm friends with a ton of them, and we know them. And I'm not going to say their names, but gastropubs, all this stuff, everything everybody's doing now. All I see is really ultra lounges and nightclub type philosophy pushing these spots, and they are taking away in our own backyard from the big venues. And local law isn't really putting the fist down on them saying, hey, you can't dance there and all that, or controlling how many people are in there. So then the other big venues, like the big venue you want to have, they can survive as well. So we're in a weird time where I don't want to see anybody lose money, but then I feel bad for this whole culture that I obviously been a part of, and the other people that are looking for it. It's not like I get 1,000 calls every week on how can I open up or where can I play, and I feel bad for guys. Like, I was a resident. I got to work every week somewhere and learn what it was to change up my set and play different stuff. And, you're always going to have your hits, and then they run out, and you play another. But it's sad to me that we don't really have that anymore, like where people can come up. I feel really bad for anybody trying to do it.
Yeah.
Because you can
break in now.
Yeah, you can hand anybody a podcast or anything, But that's not being in front of people and getting bombarded with, oh, it's too loud. Wait, turn it down right now. Oh, my God, we have a fighter there. Make sure you turn it off. Because it isn't just, oh, hey, I can play whatever I want. This is no problem. That's not reality. Reality is there's a ton of stuff hitting you at once, and you have to deal with all that. And, oh, this is the owner. This is my girlfriend. She really wants to hear this right now. And, that's really what it is working in a place. I mean, no matter what that might be. I mean, it's funny,
It sounds a lot to me, and I've heard people talk about it, about comedy clubs. There used to be not enough people that ran comedy clubs that wanted to own comedy clubs. They just somehow became managers there or somehow ended up owning it, but they weren't passionate about it. So you kind of need the same thing. You have to be passionate about that music and understand it and understand the crowd and understand the DJs and the type of people you need in there to make it work. Because I've heard that argument with comedy. Like, if you don't have somebody that's into it, that knows what comedy is, that knows the right people, and knows how to set the tone properly, it's kind of just like, whatever, just get people in there, and that's it. There's no passion for it. There's not people that want to do it.
That is a very astute point, and I am going to agree with you tenfold, because there's a show on HBO called it's a comedian, Judd Apatow produced it. Not Senseless.
Crashing?
Crashing.
Yeah.
Crashing. Okay. In the last episode, the whole concept is the typical comedy store owner was dogging him and his girlfriend that were doing, it's called, I don't want to say it's called alternative comedy, but there's people that do stuff in their apartment. There's stuff downtown Brooklyn. It's in a library. It's a different type of comedy, not always cursing, people dressing up and being crazy, but is another whole underground world, which was kind of cool to me because it did remind me of back in the day, if you couldn't work in the one place, you would try and do a party anywhere you could.
Right.
And that's how rave started. That's Caffeine and Alex That and all those guys and the other there was always someone trying to do something. And it was good to see that, like you said, in the comedy world, I didn't know that there were those problems. It makes sense to me. Obviously, someone says something and a bell goes off, like, oh, that makes a lot of sense. But when he was showing it, I didn't know there was this whole underbelly of comedy, which I thought was great. Whether you like it or not, again, that's another subject to me always. Different. But it was interesting to see what you're saying, because they were kind of goofing on the main comedy guy and how he handled it, like, it needs to be the old way and the cursing and the suck on my dick, and that's how he would and he would get up there and do his routine. And that was what it was, like, berating people and that kind of stuff, whereas these other guys have a different approach to it. So therefore that environment was I guess conducive to that. I mean,
yeah.
I think a couple of years ago, I can't remember the name of the documentary I saw, but I remember in the documentary they were interviewing the owner of the Roxy.
Oh, okay.
And he spoke about it. He said, I've over the last 10 years, this was, I want to say, around 2010 or 2011, and he said, over the last 10 to 12 years, I've progressively had less and less people each night at my nightclub. He said, in the 90s, I could open up on a Tuesday night or a Wednesday night, and I could do 500 people at the Roxy or 600 people. I could do a gay night on a Sunday night or a Monday night, and I would do 2,000 people.
Yeah.
He's like, Friday, Saturday, 2,000 people plus each night. He said, so I hired a company to do a study to try to figure out why my numbers were dropping year after year after year consistently. And he said it was because of the prevalence of online dating. That's what the study had found. Because pre-internet, if you wanted to meet another person and it was Friday night and you were single, the only place that you could meet another person was to go out. And I remember thinking about this, and when I started to bounce, it was 2001 or 2002, and I always remember, like, I worked at the doors mainly because I wasn't, like, one of the biggest guys, so I would check IDs and greet everybody and let them in. There would always be, like, your regulars. They knew how to dress properly. They knew the deal. Then there would be the people that would come, like, a couple times a year, the girls in the bachelorette parties, but there would always be like a couple of groups that like they weren't dressed right, they didn't fit in, but it was like a bunch of guys that were like, yeah, we're going out tonight because we're going to try to get laid, or a bunch of girls that didn't fit in, and they usually made up about 20 to 30% of the people that were in each nightclub. So you'd always, I started to like think, and it's sort of that, watching that documentary and hearing that sort of like you said, rung a bell in my mind. I'm like, you know what? They don't come anymore. It's just the people that go out all of the time that come. You don't get the weird, random guy that probably plays Dungeons and Dragons and hasn't got a haircut in a month, he doesn't come out with his group of friends to try to get laid or meet a girl because he's just.
I don't think they have groups of friends, those guys.
Well, he's on Plenty of Fish trying to meet another girl that's into the same thing as him. They're not coming. That whole group of people doesn't come out anymore. Whereas in the 80s and previously to the internet, the only way to meet somebody on Thursday, Friday, or Saturday night was you got to go out.
You have to socialize.
You have to socialize. And I feel like we're losing a lot of that component. I'm not going to say that it hurts money-wise, obviously, but it does make for a more like unified group when you are at like a venue watching a DJ. Usually everybody's there is into the music, like, oh yeah, this guy's playing this song next. Oh, this set's really good. And they were like, everyone's on the same page. So you don't have those like real outcasts that don't get it. They're not on par, but you don't have the numbers either to support all of the venues.
It produced a niche, is what it did. Like, there's no variety anymore. So if you go to a comedy show, a techno show, whatever club, it's only going to be the people that like that. Is what you're saying, essentially.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, and I guess
I don't think that's good.
I mean, if we do events now, like, we do a couple thousand people at Tropics on a holiday weekend, which we do, so it shows me that people still are going out, even with all the new technology. So I get you on that. The only thing is, which I agree with he's trying to say, which you are saying, is I think it might be too homogenous.
It could be.
So therefore,
That's
when
like
it
two
is all
words.
the same and the same people in the same place, you then can say, oh, I'm tired of this.
No new blood,
Whereas,
like Steve was saying.
when there's a couple oddballs, and even though it is an oddball, girls don't mind getting, as long as they're not being totally mean. I'm saying the crazy guy that buys him a drink, like, oh, wasn't that guy so funny? Him and his buddy. Like, those stories are what make going out funny.
Yeah,
I mean,
and guys don't guys don't care about any oddball girls either. Like, more girls, we don't care if you're
yeah. I mean, like,
if you're here and you're talking to me, yes, run.
You make an interesting point that just made me think of something, and it had occurred to me. Like you just said it kind of ties back to what we were talking about in the beginning about like where we're at as a society. Like everybody's so offended, and there's like everybody's on eggshells. I never thought about this. The prevalence of social media and online dating has created so many echo chambers and so many niches that you're not getting that variety anymore. And
there's no more melding.
Yeah, I feel like it's causing people to become even more tribal. So
extremely polarized.
You're so used to being around all like-minded people now that everybody else has become the other.
Well, that's the whole reason why people don't have conversations anymore. It's if you don't have the same exact opinion that I have, then fuck you. I don't want to talk to you.
You're a Nazi.
Scream. Yeah, you're a fascist. You're a Nazi. Nobody wants to hear out anybody anymore. It's like if you don't have my opinion and my philosophy, then fuck you.
Yeah,
difference of opinions is great. I mean, I have some really good friends, and we do not see eye to eye at all on stuff, but how you deal with that and how you talk to those people, and maybe not talking on Facebook, maybe I'm a little more old-fashioned, and I'm not even, let's say, a big fan of him, but even Donald Trump answers phone calls all the time. Puffy answers phone calls. Russell Simmons answers. They all answer their phone all the time, and they are major, major players, and whatever. I'm not condoning where they've gone and whatever, but it is very important to talk to people. And then I get these things. I'll see these comments, like, these little Instagram memes thing, like, oh, you won't see me answering the call. Like, I get the text, Okay, that's funny, kind of, but it's really not, because I'd rather you answer the call so while I'm driving we could talk for 2 minutes, get it out of the way, and not have a 20-minute, like, you're thinking about it and doing something.
How many relationships have ended over texting?
So many.
Because you cannot put context in a text message.
Yeah. You're right.
How many?
You can't.
Well,
you can't
it's a text. It's a text message. When a promoter writes 8 lines to me, it's a conversation. It's not called text conversationing.
Yeah.
It's a text message. And the other thing that drives me crazy that Kanye brought up and everybody it's asynchronous communication. You can answer whenever the fuck you want an answer. It's a text message, it's an email. You want an answer right away, call someone up.
100%.
That's bullshit that you didn't text me back right away. It's a text message. You can do it whenever you want to do it. Same with your email. You want to get an immediate response. I have a very important thing. I need to know. You call and leave me a voicemail. I mean,
use that phone app.
Yeah, the phone app.
Yeah, phone app. Voicemails. People don't leave voicemails anymore.
Well, you didn't.
I think it's your best friend. I love the voicemail. Hey, I got you. I called it too. You can blow them off for another day. But once you get the voicemail, it's your best friend.
If anybody leaves me a voicemail, I'm like, oh shit, that was important.
Oh man, this is not
How
bad
important?
news.
How can guys that have a vodka company, they're filming, they're going out with a star, they produce 2 albums, how can they talk on the phone? But you, who isn't married, single, you rent the place, you don't even own a house, you don't have to clean your gutters out, all the responsibility of a homeowner. You know, like you
lease a car.
you can't talk to anybody. You're that busy, a promoter or whatever you do. I mean, whoa, you're just so busy. You know, give me a break. Holy moly!
They're busy, crafting their Tinder.
Yeah, exactly. They're busy crafting their next Facebook comment on the next comment of what's.
They're curating their Instagram to make themselves look like they do lots of interesting things. Yeah. So the girls on Tinder will be like, "Oh, this guy does interesting things."
He's got 2,000 followers on Instagram.
Oh, doesn't that kill you? It's like there's guys that have 20K that
don't do
they
anything.
Just started, and it's like, how do you do that?
We have that in the MMA community too. They'll have you'll have some kid that has 1 or 2 amateur fights, have 6,000 followers. They put up a picture of them winning the fight. They get 45 likes, and you're just like, how do you have 45 likes? You got 6,500 followers. How the fuck does this metric work? I get more followers, I get more likes than that of just pictures of my kids.
It's people that you actually know instead of just people that you bought and paid for and that don't even care. Most people, if you really look at it, at who actually reads the post, I would love to see a metric of that. Read what I'm don't just read what I'm writing.
I learned something.
Well, you can schedule your reply to that. So the comments, if you read the comment on people with a lot of followers that might not be as big. Listen, Kim Kardashian has real people following her. There's no doubt.
Yeah,
and LeBron and all the big people have a lot of people following. Yep. It's the subversion of that, the B and C celebrity, you know what I mean, or D, even D nowadays, but their responses are replied responses, and you can put hashtag. I mean, listen, people don't care if they're listening to this, but you can put your hashtag to get a response, not a real hashtag like TBT and that kind of stuff, but you start looking Insta feel, Insta good, Insta better, and then there's guys that when they write that, they respond back.
They're
to
getting
that
eyeballs.
Following. Yeah, and it's like you said, it's not a real response to what the picture is.
If you ever watch a girl scroll through their Instagram feeds,
it's just like everything.
They just like stuff. They don't even look at it. And there's people that even say friends of mine, I didn't even look what you wrote. I just know you posted it, so I liked it. It's like.
But which is nice though.
I'll take it.
It's nice, but at the same time, it's like, so what is the point of your Instagram at that point? If you're just scrolling and hitting the button, what are you actually doing? Is there?
I get it. We're friends. You like me. That's fine. We're friends.
Right, but what's your intent? Right?
Yeah.
When I scroll through Instagram, I have intent in a lot of what I do, especially because some of the things I follow. I follow some pretty interesting, geeky, cosmology stuff and science. So I have an intent sometimes. I get it, everybody mindlessly scrolls it sometimes, but mostly girls that I talk to say they just scroll and they're not even actually looking. They're not reading.
It's amazing.
They're barely looking at the picture.
It's amazing if you really though like it was Q-Tip's birthday the other day, and someone wrote something on DJ. I follow DJ Scratch. I know him out here, EPMD guy. What a great guy, has his own show. Blah blah blah. But the point is, he wrote something, and someone underneath him wrote something interesting. So the way they wrote it, and this is what just if you have a little time and you start to do this, surfing through. That guy was from Australia, and he does party, but it was interesting to see this guy's comment, what he had to say, and then his stuff was really interesting. And then he had a funk he had a girl that made a comment on his page, and then I was like, oh, look at this girl, she seems like she's interesting. I went to her page, and she had a funk record, a 45. Oh, this artist. I never heard of this artist. And now, I know tons of artists, but you'll always find, and this is what I love about social media, is that I found out about this guy, Lee Wells, who's this 70s, 60s funk singer guy. It was dope. Never heard of him before. He was on some soundtracks. I went to iTunes. I looked it up. And my point is that if it didn't stem from the thing and looking at it, that to me is what's great about social media. If you're looking for, I don't say knowledge it's all about knowledge, but it is knowledge. It really is knowledge. You're learning something, you're finding something,
one way or another.
And you're like, oh, wow, I didn't know about that. And you can never know about anything. I don't care what you know, you'll never know about everything.
No.
And that's what's great about all these people making their comments, because you're sometimes like, oh, wow, I didn't know about that. That's really cool. Or that movie, or that comment, or that thing, that book, or, know.
Well, that's the problem is
as opposed to yelling at someone and being mad about, what you were talking about.
It's always that.
I've said this multiple times, is I don't know if it's a generational thing or what, but there are so many people that have, you have this phone that has all the information to everything that you ever want to know anytime, and then they'll sit and argue about something ridiculous, or they only use it for, they're not even taking the information from Instagram or Facebook. They're just scrolling through and liking mindlessly. And they're not paying
pictures
attention.
of cats and dogs.
Right, exactly. They're like, oh, I got to get another selfie real quick. It's like, why don't you take a second and learn? Like, see what people are posting and absorb some of it.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Take it in.
I agree. There's so much, so to decipher through it all, I guess is tough. And I guess it's a shame there isn't anybody deciphering through it. It's almost now, and I guess a lot of thing I feel about is I always attribute stuff to music or sports or stuff like that. But with music, a label, and there's a lot of guys that have a lot of disagreements. I've had like legitimate bad disagreements with DJs, but I think that the label structure of a label, an A&R, a promo department, when you release something now, people say, oh, this is my new release. Okay. Your new release is what you did. It's not on a label. There's no responsibility behind it. There's no one telling you maybe the so like a long time ago, Steve Angelo, before he was even doing Swedish House Mafia, he wrote a comment like it was almost like and it was a Twitter comment. It was a Twitter thing. It was sort of like, just because you put out a promo doesn't mean it's meant to be promoted. In the sense that, yeah, it's great if you have something out that you want to show everybody. I think that's what's great about the new way we have, where you can make something. Let's say there is a dicky A&R guy who's not going to show you any love, or you're from a certain area. I get that, but
what does A&R mean?
Arts and research or something like that.
I never knew that. You always hear that term, but actually, I never knew what it was.
I know this because when I was at the label, I memorized what it meant.
I hear that term so much.
Artists and repertoire.
Artists and repertoire.
I hear that
You're right,
all the time, but I never knew what it meant. Like, what the hell's an A&R?
Now I know too.
I was wrong on the
we
second
learned
one.
something on the internet.
But yeah. So in other words, I think that if you look at from the 50s all the way to the 90s, there was this machine of radio and stuff, and I look at all the groups in that time frame, and then I look at everything from the 90s till now, and I just don't see the staying power. And the Police, when they first came out, were dogged completely. I could show you article on how they suck, they're not doing anything, blah, blah. They kept rising. A&M believed in them, and the A&R that signed them, and whatever, and they kept pushing them and putting them out. Fine Young Cannibals. I mean, I could go on and on, all these groups that have horrible stuff. I think Adamant. But I mean, these groups ended up being multi-platinum groups. Huge hits, huge records, even to this day being played on the radio, which is the sign of something being classic. Like classic rock started where the records were so 10, 20 years old that even though new stuff was coming out, you got to think,
still gotta listen to
great stuff coming out when classic rock started, but it was so necessary to still be playing it because it was still prevalent. People wanted to hear it. And the same thing with the music is that it's great to put stuff out, but then I just don't know if no one's deciphering it. Or Spotify. Oh, Spotify. But I like radio stations. I like the terrestrial aspect. I like the local thing. I like that you can put it on. You miss that, then you lose all that that started that. And we live in an area of New York where we had everything. We had... Obviously, the LAR documentary is a perfect example. We had alternative radio. We had 3 hip-hop stations. We had an R&B station. We had CD 101.9 and their mix show. We had so much mix show and music coming out, and you could get extra stuff from whatever you liked on that station you liked. That was amazing. Even at the time, K-Rock had that show with Liquid Tide. They were doing electronica and stuff like that. So, I mean, you could get so much in our area. We were so lucky and fortunate. Now, everybody has everything, but I don't think it's as organized and easy, and I don't want to say easy to find, but it just seems like it's not as...
Quality is all watered down.
And there's no one to say, hey, maybe
that's
maybe
not
you should
that
do
great.
Maybe
you should change it a little bit.
Like, I think you
people
need
like
that.
Little
I hate to
Yachty
say
and
it.
Little Pump and like all this crap. Oh,
don't
God.
even. I don't.
It's so.
I don't want to sound like the older generation bashing the younger generation. But
I get both sides. Scissorhands, right? You guys probably know.
Yeah.
Okay, so Scissorhands made a comment about that 6ix9ine artist. That guy, and his comment was, "I know I'm going to get a lot of hate on this, and but I like his angst. I like his. He reminds me of Onyx. Onyx. So he had a bunch of comments. A bunch of people said stuff. People liked it. A lot of people didn't or didn't stuff. And then I don't like the way the guy looks and everything. And I guess that's the thing is that, you know, if you want to look back and you say you're being old, okay, so is it as good as Onyx? Is it the same thing as Is it a copy? No, I mean, he's got his own mindset. But then you start to listen to what he was saying, and then I go back to when I first heard Onyx. I was with my man, Tom LaRock. We went to Def Jam. They gave us a tape of the new stuff that was coming out. I heard about the one record online, Red Alert played it, or one of those guys, or Silver D or somebody, and we're in the car listening to something that isn't even released yet, and a couple of their songs. I'm like, these guys are crazy. And on that same thing was another group that was doing, it was called like Murder Rap or Murder Horror Rap or something like that. But
I remember hardcore.
Yeah. So it was really hardcore. It was even more hardcore than them. And I don't know if I really dug that as much. But the point was I knew there was something with these guys. They were wild. They were crazy. I loved, you know, the different voices and everything, and Freddie and the other guy. So, you know, there's four of them. But I hear that and think of that mindset and think about what was going on then. And then I think about, like, him, you know, the new guy, and I just don't see what I saw. And I know I saw it and I was the one seeing it, but I just don't see the Then when I look at the thing, it's like, shouldn't this guy be a different version, or shouldn't even be on another level? It shouldn't be every other line, I'm getting head, I'm getting head, I'm getting head. I don't remember listening to that album and hearing Onyx and those guys saying that same kind of repetitive stuff. But that's just my opinion on it. So I can understand there's kids that don't like that, and I respect, and this is where back to where I'm not, you know, we have to, as we get older, be a little less judgmental and understand it. But our comments, I don't think, should be dismissed as because back in the day when I listened to someone say something, I wasn't like, oh, well, I really like Led Zeppelin. I wasn't like, oh, and, you know, fuck that thing. Like, I didn't. I'm like, oh, you like Led Zeppelin? Like, okay, cool. Like,
it's not really my thing, or like, you know.
Yeah, and you also didn't look at artists as being young. We were like, let's say when you were 10, 12, 8, on the radio, there was Hall & Oates who were in their 30s. Duran Duran that were in their mid-20s. Patti LaBelle, I mean, major hits. Like, you were young listening to a Patti LaBelle record. She's in her 40s, if not 50. You know, there wasn't an age thing. It wasn't like that. And guaranteed, MTV was there, and there were shows and Solid Gold, and we can go on and on. All these shows to see the artist. So it wasn't like the artist was hiding in a box, and you couldn't tell. So this whole theory of young and it's so good and
it's not valid. Well, it's not valid because I can think back to when I got into. I remember I grew up on Biggie and stuff like that. Ready to Die came out in 1994. I was in 5th grade when that record came out. There were songs on that record that I'd listened to for 10 to 12 years before I knew what the fuck he was talking about. Like I remember there's a verse like he said he's got the pack of Rough Riders in the back of the Pathfinder. I didn't know what the fuck Rough Riders were. I was a kid. I didn't know what that was. I didn't know there were condoms designed for anal sex. You know what I'm saying? Like there was.
You started talking about DMX's crew.
Like I didn't. But that's what I mean. Like
that's
I was
how good
young.
Biggie was. That's how you think about it.
But there's more than that I can go back to of songs that I listened to that I didn't know what the fuck he was talking about. It's not just Biggie. It goes across with a lot of other artists that I grew up on. I can even say that the same thing about like the same time frame I liked the Chili Peppers and Nirvana. There's things that those guys sung about. I had no fucking idea. Like Under the Bridge, I didn't know what the fuck that was about. I didn't know that was about heroin until I was like 18. Yeah. But I loved it. So I think I agree with you about that. It's not an age thing, but
the artist I don't think has to be young.
That's what I mean. The artist doesn't have to be young, and neither does the person.
Totally.
Music is music, and it makes its connections no matter what.
What your age is, it's going to find its connection when it's good.
Yeah, exactly. What's happening
I'm
now?
not saying that a 40-year-old guy is going to have this amazing mindset, but I mean the Eagles and all these groups, they were in their 20s, where now they're looking for artists in their 15, 16-year-old, like they're looking for young artists. Yeah. With all these other shows and the advent of new ways to get it, regular, I don't want to say regular aged, people that are drinking age and 20s, and they can come out now, which is great.
People can purchase shit.
But back in the day, a label would be fully behind you at 30 years old, putting out your album, as long as it was obviously good. I mean, but...
Well, now it's not about that. That was my point was going to be, is that now these new artists that only the kids like.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's the difference. When music is good, it's not only the young generation that likes it. Some of these new artists, it's only young people.
Only young people. And think about it this way. Like, you could still put Biggie on at any point, and almost everybody in the room is going to...
You put on Hypnotize, everybody's dancing no matter what.
Everyone's dancing to it. Everyone's getting to it. You put on some of these, newer artists that have come out over the last, I'll even just go as short as like 2010 plus. they're gone now. The artists that were probably big in 2011, especially in the hip hop scene, they're gone. Unless you're Kanye or something like that. But so many of these new guys that only 15, 16, 17-year-olds are listening to, they're gone. They're one album and then that's it. And
because they grow up,
listen to them again.
They grow out and grow up with the kids that were 15, 16 when they like them, and then once they expire, so does their music.
Yeah, it's
there's
so
guys
strange.
there's guys, not young, old, my age or even a little bit younger than me, but older that fight.
The Cure. He's got a Cure shirt on right now. How appropriate for
this is okay. So here you go. This is we'll talk about though. This is a line called Noah. They're in Manhattan. The guys used to design for Supreme. They didn't like the direction they were going in. They're doing their own thing. They had it. There's this new thing now. It's back in the day. It'd be called It's called time capsules. If you've seen it, the time capsule with Nike and the time capsule with Tribe Called Quest and Vans. They just had a time. So it's like when you get together and you do something. This label, this clothing line, teamed up with The Cure and got okayed on some of their album stuff and the usage of some of the visuals of Robert Smith. But that's when what you're saying, I believe tenfold, is that when I saw The Cure last year at Madison Square Garden, and they sold out 2 days in a row, and the tickets were gone in an hour, and they aren't even on the radio anymore. It shows you how long a group from the 80s and the impact it had still lasts. And they're not an 80s group. Listen, they had 90s hits. I mean, their biggest stuff was on Z100 and with Disintegration in the 90s. But I mean, good quality stuff will always last around.
Think about how many people...
and that's what I agree with you, is that I don't know if the formula to put stuff out right now, where you don't...
It's right now.
We all yelled at labels, so everybody yells at labels, fuck labels, fuck labels, fuck... So you put it out yourself. Great, you put it out yourself. You put it out yourself not at the same rate a label would put it out. So you're putting it out to make money, which you are. So you're making money for you and your camp. I don't know if you're making hits.
No.
Now, you can argue that why do we have to make hits? That's I think, again, an entirely different subject. But I think that if the records had the proper... I think we can make hits again if it went to a formula. Now, they say, where do you play them? That's another thing. There's not enough radio stations. There still are a lot of radio stations. So I'm not going to say that they're all disappeared. And there's other ways to get in. There's satellite radio. But something is just weird right now. I don't know if it's...
I think we're in a transitional period.
What?
There's no more tastemakers.
Well, okay. With the advent, and go back to what he said, with the advent of social media, the tastemaker, which was so necessary, or at least it's kind of gone to the side, because some guy could turn around, get a lot of friends, or pay for whatever, and become their own and build their own little thing.
It's on-demand culture.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that they are a tastemaker. They are just someone that's... This is like... It's kind of like... There's like... Something can be popular. It doesn't mean it's good.
Yeah.
100%.
Agreed.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Yeah.
I think something can be popular, but it doesn't mean it's good.
100%.
Right.
So take that, whatever you might want to take. Now, that doesn't mean everything popular isn't good.
But you can apply that to everything.
Listen, we might not like a record. Listen, I don't love the Grateful Dead at all. I have to respect that group. Mad respect.
Same exact thing.
Because of what they did, how they toured, what they did, and on and on. And even Justin Bieber and his crew. Scooter is an amazing manager. What he did, how he got him to sing on, Scooter was brilliant what he did for Justin, and even keeping him back in again and bringing him up with Diplo and doing the whole resurgence of Justin's career again. That's an amazing mind right there. And listen, Justin had the talent enough to keep doing it. Good for him. There was always going to be a pop guy and everything.
Of course.
I don't hate on that. I don't care. But it shows you with organization what you could still do. Whereas, I put my stuff out, fuck the labels. Okay. But I don't know if it's helping as much. I don't know. I mean, we I guess we'll look in the future.
Yeah,
but
you're only going to look and see it because, I mean, look at it this way. There are people like Billy Joel and Elton John who can still sell at the Garden anytime that they go there. And then you look at whoever, maybe, again, take out like Kanye and things like that. People have been around for a long time. If you take whoever had, a number one record in 2014 and they're not in the limelight anymore. You think they're selling out the Garden?
Then I'll say this. Stone Roses sold out the Garden last year. You might even know who Stone Roses are. But Stone Roses are a big alternative group. Sold out in a second. Boom. People came from all over. And they haven't put out an album in 12 years.
Right. Exactly.
So I'm saying, but that shows you, though, how when they came out, how they were marketed.
people still have fond
when I
memories.
mean market it too, I don't mean trying to convince. Like we got this thing nowadays where media is horrible and everything's horrible. I mean that you can market a product so more people know about it, and they might like it. Yeah. I'm not talking about smoke and mirrors where we're going to make this fake Red Bull drink better, and we want it cheaper than Red Bull, and it's not as good as Red Bull. No, I'm saying that good quality stuff still needs to be marketed. Good stuff. Because not everybody knows about it, and there's nothing wrong with that.
I think what you said is true, but I think you can apply that to anything. That just because it's popular doesn't mean it's good. You can apply that to TV. You can apply that to everything.
But look how TV had a full. Okay, look at how TV was so reality, right? And now the shows that are really doing well, Modern Family. What's the other family show that the guy died in the fire thing. I don't even follow.
This is
us.
Yeah.
But all these shows now with serious actors, big payroll, came back. But remember, it was like all reality and all this type of stuff. But it did come back again with his scripted.
shows. Jersey Shore's back.
Yeah. hey,
shout out to Jenny.
Shout out to Jenny. But I mean, it's good to see that the scripted shows came back. HBO's kicking ass, Showtime, all these great shows on there, written well.
Netflix is killing it.
Netflix too.
Netflix to me is like the outlier of what we've been talking about because Netflix is on-demand culture, and it is like Netflix is almost like a social media platform for content, of like movies and music and such like that. But like, there's things that come out that it doesn't get marketed. There's movies that come out that get popular just on people exploring it.
Yeah. But it's good, though. It is rising.
No, it's good, but I'm saying it's an anomaly.
Let's not lie, though, how much Netflix is spending some serious money.
Right, but what I'm saying is there's not, like, all right, so that movie Bright, that was a Netflix original.
Yeah.
I never saw any advertisements for it on TV. Like you would
Orange
see
is the New Black. I only caught on by someone talking about it.
Right, that's what I mean.
was late on the draw, and I didn't realize. And then I watched it, I was like, wow, this is a real crazy show.
They're the anomaly.
And how many actresses from that are in movies now?
Yeah.
Right.
So it's great to see now that's the opposite of what we're saying.
That's what I'm saying.
Which I agree.
They are the outlier in that term where they're not spending that marketing dollar and manufacturing.
But don't you need both though? Like like that's what I'm saying. Is I think we need both. It isn't just I hate the man, I hate corporations. I think we need both. We
agree.
Need the independent mindset. And we also need this structured, organized mindset to try and help people.
Yeah, you need
like the police
Netflix is that.
That wouldn't have gone anywhere if someone put a bad Instagram.
Netflix is that.
Well,
yes.
There is a balance.
I think yes.
I think Netflix
is
that.
I don't think there's a balance. I mean, I think that there's not a lot of balance right now. I think we need to get back to it.
There's two polarizing, it seems like, venues. You have regular TV, and then you have Netflix, which are both good in their for their own reasons.
Yeah.
But if you just had one, like when it was just network television, sometimes there was a show called Swingtown that came out.
Oh yeah.
They did one season. It was great, but it never caught on, and they didn't do another season. And it would have been a phenomenal show had more people watched it, but they had to put it up. It was made for HBO or Showtime. Neither one of them picked it up because it was too close to a couple other shows, and it was while The Sopranos were really booming.
Yeah.
And HBO said, we don't have enough money in our budget, so it got edited down. All the good stuff got cut out, put on NBC, and it was running at like an 8 or 9 o'clock time spot against a bunch of other very powerful shows at the time. But if you put that on, if that was on Netflix, maybe it would have taken a year or so for it to catch on. But because it's up there whenever and anybody can watch it whenever they want, say you'd have to get that new season signed before the end of the first one's done showing on like a regular network. But on Netflix, it could be, well, the show didn't pick up any steam, but 3 months after we released it, now it's a giant hit. We got to get everybody back together and do a second season.
Netflix is interesting in that term because, the reason why that show shit the bed is because it didn't bring the advertising buck in. So if you're not filling,
it's a rocket.
If you're not filling that slot and you're not bringing eyes and advertisement dollars,
that's it. You're gone.
Corporate TV doesn't want it. Now Netflix, it's interesting. Look at how many series that Netflix is revitalizing, giving life to. They made another Full House. I heard they're talking about trying to do Saved by the Bell again.
They just brought Lost in Space back.
Yeah, they have all these niches where people are like, they're watching it like crazy. All the old episodes on Netflix that now they want to start developing new content. And if you think about it, like that is the for lack of a better term I would explain it, it's like the market dictating what has value, and their algorithms are now becoming the new engines for that.
But so let's say what you're just saying, and let's take what he just said, and back to what I said. If there wasn't the executive that kept Seinfeld on regular television, it would have been no Seinfeld. And Seinfeld, to me, is on a completely different level than Fuller House and all that stuff, which is
it's in another stratosphere.
Like to me, Netflix, Judd Apatow has a show called Love. I thought that show was great. 3 seasons just finished, totally different, fucking on the thing, and good actors and actresses on it. But it was a weird show that would never have been, and it never would have been on HBO because it wasn't polished enough. But I agree that it had a home. What comes on Netflix and what gets popular, and can it create the next Seinfeld? That, to me, is what I'd love to see. Is like, because I think that, I don't think anybody can argue, unless you can argue that Seinfeld wasn't good, but I think that we all agree that it was one of the historic things, and if it wasn't for the people that believed in it and had it on that in front of that many people,
it was a show about nothing.
There's names, there's lines, there's movie things.
Wait, what are you saying that you don't know if Netflix can produce that?
I don't know yet, because I don't know if I've seen a Seinfeld from Netflix. I've seen some entertainment.
Right.
I just don't know if I've seen a Seinfeld yet, and that to me is how I look at guys that have to pick out of something and believe in it and push it.
I don't know if we have a long enough sample size either.
No, that's what I'm saying. No, I said I don't know. I don't know yet.
I think it's also them almost kind of shooting themselves in the foot with the amount of content. So there's only so many entertainment hours that someone can invest. Like obviously, there's X amount of people. 330 million people in the U.S. There's only so much.
Global? I really don't know.
Oh, yes.
It is.
But they have.
Do those numbers work? Do we have those numbers? Not us, but are there numbers for that?
You could see that.
So you could see what streams in Australia when, all that.
But
where is that information? I would love to see.
It's all online.
Yeah. So we could see right now how Fuller House tests in Australia.
No. That's Netflix's algorithms. They won't release that shit.
But did they have that?
They have.
Netflix has it.
They know what everyone's watching all the time. But
that's their secret.
That's what we need to see, though. Because that would show us how. But that would show us how. There's going to be a book eventually.
Oh yeah, of course.
There's got to be something that tells you.
That's what gives Netflix its value, because that's their algorithms that determine, based on what people are watching, what to promote into the queue.
No, but you know that David Chappelle pulling out a TV wasn't an algorithm. He was hot, and then somebody.
No, what I'm saying is what Netflix. So all right, you have your Netflix. I have my Netflix.
Yeah.
Eric has his Netflix. Netflix has an algorithm based on what you browse
it tells me
and watch.
what I might like.
Right,
yeah.
so that depends.
And it pisses me off, but that's me.
I don't like it because I feel like I get pigeonholed.
Yeah, don't pigeonhole me into one fucking thing.
It does do that.
I just watched that B porn just to see how it was. That show wasn't that good. I
wanted to check the dialogue.
See, there's trickery though, and I don't know if this is still happening, but I read this a while ago. There's trickery on Netflix's algorithm that it only registers if you finish the film.
Oh, that's interesting.
Really?
See,
I did not know that.
If you do not finish it, it doesn't get picked up by the algorithm. So you could be browsing a bunch of shit and not finishing it, but it doesn't. And I could be botching this. It was a couple years ago. But if you don't finish it, it doesn't hit.
But I will say what I was saying is they're almost kind of shooting themselves in the foot with the amount of content that they have out there. There are so many original series on Netflix, so many documentaries that people don't even get to because there's so many options. Like there are times,
I find myself sometimes like I don't know if I want to do that tonight.
Yeah.
I just put on. I'm listening to that flip through on the regular channels. This way,
I watched Andre the Giant.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't have it in me to search for something on Netflix. I'm not in the middle of watching anything right now.
Yeah.
So we're gonna stick with regular TV because I don't have the time to invest.
But I love the going back. I love the option though, and that's all. Yeah. And I agree 100% that I love that there's an option. And it's focused, and they have a mindset, and there's great shows on there. Like I do think there's some really
there's some really great shows on there.
I'd love to see like in 10 years what we're looking at and what shines.
What you still watch, what has the staying power. I mean, you look at some of the shows that are actually on Netflix now too. Some of the older shows, even like Friends and stuff like that. Like where people will still watch those shows.
Yeah.
And Friends has been off the air for what, 10 years
now?
Oh,
it's amazing.
And
it's syndicated. So it's like
syndicated. It's on 8 different channels, and if you're flipping through, you're gonna stop and watch it. Like you're gonna there's a funny episode on. I'm stopping and watching it. Like that's it. Are you gonna see that from Are people still gonna be watching Orange Is the New Black in 10 years?
Doubtful.
I don't know.
Yeah. I don't think so.
I don't think so either. Because I also think the quality, and this is going back. I don't think the quality of writing is there as much in the 100%. Storylines like a major network that has the pressure to put it out.
I have a different view on that.
Oh, please. No, please.
So what I think the reason why is because the other side of what Netflix does, binging.
Okay.
So
is that good or bad, though?
I think it's a double-edged sword. I don't know. I like it, but I also dislike it because So you release a season, you watch the whole thing, and then you have to wait a year. At least it's spaced out over network TV a little bit, or you know,
drip and drag.
Yeah. But you could also watch it on your own time. You don't have to be home in this night. But what I think happens is maybe for me, I try not to watch anything new now. I want to wait till it's over, and I binge the whole fucking every season. I'll watch 15 shows of 10 seasons on on something that I get into, but after that, I don't want to see it again.
Huh. That's interesting.
So you do you like what's the big HBO show? The
Game of Thrones.
Yeah. So like you would wait till all Game of Thrones is over and then
I would
start
never
watching?
watch Game of Thrones, but yes.
No, but just for argument.
I do that.
So here's a perfect example. I did it with Californication.
Okay, yeah.
I started watching Californication about 2 years ago. It had already been off the air for a couple of years. I watched it from the first episode to the 89th episode, like 8 seasons, and I binged it hard, and I fucking loved it. But like, I'm not rewatching that.
Not now, but you're right down the road.
But was it that okay? So here we go though.
Well, that's what I mean. I don't know.
Was it
if
that
you're
good
gonna-
where you didn't like? In other words, was it then not as good a show because you didn't want to watch it right away?
No, that's what I mean. I don't know.
We'd have to go into your psyche of what you've watched your whole life and what do you watch that was of contemporary show. Like, what's a contemporary show you watch that you like?
I'm not. Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm not.
Is there anything you ever liked?
Yeah, I like a ton of shit.
No,
but
so like, what's something you like in '88 or '92 or '95, '96? What'd you like?
Saved by the Bell, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Okay, so what'd you like 3 years when you got older, high school, senior? What did you like then?
TRL. No, I'm just kidding.
No, but you might have only watched it. So you didn't watch any shows at night or anything. You didn't watch Dawson's Creek. You didn't watch.
I did as a kid when I was in high school. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so you watch shows every week, right? Like you're curious what was happening with
of course,
Brenda. Yeah, like there's nothing wrong with that. I'm saying, like,
No.
So you were watching those shows. So those shows at that time of your life were interesting. Then you went to college or went into workforce after high school. What do you remember watching then? Then we're talking about the 2000s and stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have that great of a memory.
But isn't that when? Now I'm talking about when the Seinfeld. So did you ever
I did watch Seinfeld. Yeah, I watched
Did
Seinfeld.
Did you watch?
I watched
Cheers?
Friends. We
Did you
still
watch
rewatch
Family
Friends. Me and Chris have
Cosby Show,
rewatched
Family
Friends.
Ties. Did you watch any of those?
Of course.
Yeah.
Okay, so those shows were that important then to you, where you had to watch them of the moment.
Well, I didn't have a choice.
Yeah, you didn't have the choice.
I didn't have
Why?
a choice.
There was cable, HBO, Showtime. There's
Yeah,
everything.
but
There's
not-
A&E.
not like
there's
now.
TNT,
Man.
You
TBS.
couldn't binge like you do now.
But so you so in other words, are you a binge watcher or are you a TV? Are you,
I'm a
are you
binger
show
now.
Watcher?
I'm
Okay.
a binger now. But here's what I'm saying. I'm not making the argument that I'm right
No,
or
I'm just
wrong.
curious. No, I'm
and
just
I'm
curious.
just saying that I think that has a chance to influence what you're saying. Whether or not you're going to see people watching Orange is the New Black.
I want to know, is there then, in other words, is a director right now saying, and I mean this in a good way, is a director saying, I need to make a binge show or I need to make art? That's all I'm asking.
No, that's what I mean.
No.
I don't know. That's what I'm saying because
I don't know. I'm just
it could.
I will say-
I think it could affect that. I
Okay.
think because like what you said when we were in high school, you couldn't binge. Now you can. So I wonder how that affects, like you're saying, the classic now. Are you going to rewatch that stuff 10 years ago? But you didn't binge on Friends when it was first out.
No,
Now-
but DVDs were coming out.
Right, but now you
around
have a
that
new
time.
now you have a new
get
show.
The first 3 seasons in the
Now you have a
season.
new show that's bingeable. If you binge it, does it become that rewatchable classic? That's what I'm wondering.
I will say that they are looking for the binge-worthy shows because that's even what the advertising and the marketing is now.
Netflix and chill.
Everything. Well, not even just Netflix and chill, but the whole tag of the next binge-worthy show. Like that's the tag on a lot of different shows that are coming out.
So
now.
is that Netflix's shtick?
No,
or
because
is that?
I don't think it's
you know what I mean?
just. I don't think it's just.
Like, I don't know.
Netflix.
I really don't know. I'm not knocking it. I have Netflix. I buy it. I love it. I would never get
Netflix
rid
is
of
the
it.
only bingeable
You know,
platform. HBO still doesn't release things in full seasons. Netflix is the only
if you
one that
look
does
at,
it.
I don't know. My
But-
Verizon,
but-
I could see a lot. I could find a
No,
lot.
but what I'm saying is,
of
all right.
stuff.
So if HBO
But
has a
it's
show
still
that's no, I'm talking about that's currently in production. If they
Oh,
release
no,
a new
no,
series
they
of
don't-
Game of Thrones, they don't release all 12 episodes of the new season at once.
Oh no!
Netflix is the
But
only
but
platform
the-
that does that.
But you can watch all their older stuff.
Right, but Netflix is the only one that does it currently.
but
The next new
people
season
binge.
of House of Cards,
Yeah.
I don't
it
know
will
what
be
you guys- I don't
released
even
with
know
all
what you
12
guys are-
episodes.
I don't know why you guys are all arguing right
No,
now.
we're not.
I don't
We're
even
not
know.
arguing.
Yeah, no. I don't think
Everybody's
we're
real
we're
serious.
discussing.
No, I'm sorry. I don't think we're
I'm just
on-
passionate about what we're talking about. I think it's cool.
No, I
No
love
one's arguing.
I'm listening to this because I think, to me, this is knowledge right now because when you get into these projects, it's nice to hear what everybody has to say. Like, I don't think we're arguing at all.
No,
actually.
no.
Yeah, like,
I'm just proposing
I mean in a good way.
ideas.
I love everything you're saying, and I'm soaking it up because in my mind, I never.
Eric
really,
just likes to stir the pot. Ignore him.
No, but I really do believe that there is a binge production going on, and I believe there's someone saying, how can we get to ABC on this pilot? And I believe that there's someone saying, oh my God, our pilot's so more advanced, we're ready for HBO or Showtime.
Right.
And some of the other good companies.
Yeah.
Yeah, listen, FX.
There's probably people
I don't
going in
wanna
every
knock, I don't want
direction.
to knock the other cable. I'm just saying, but that says a lot for what we might see and where the future of that is, and then whatever else might come out. And that's when you start to see the money side of it, of what can I invest in next, and what might be the next thing coming out, and is there something else that could come out? Right. So it's interesting because hearing it all, it's people's different opinions.
I'm sure there's probably people going in every direction.
Oh yeah,
sure,
yeah. But
just to address what you're saying, I wasn't arguing. I was just offering.
I did not think you were.
What I see might be influencing those things going forward because it's a new frontier.
I like hearing it because I think that there's something to be said about that. Because then what else can you do with that? In other words, should we? Okay, you were saying it's the only thing. I have a question for you then, and I don't know this answer. Do companies binge product push? Does RC Cola come out with 5 new flavors at once? Does Lucky Charms come out with do new products now? I
don't even know how to answer that.
No, but I'm saying, so I don't know that answer. But I mean, if I want to now start to go, did Netflix steal their model from anyone else? Not that it says, but I mean, is binge stuff, has it been out there? Like, I'd have to really now look and see, when that new cereal came out, did they put 3 new cereals out? Or I'm just asking. I don't know that answer, but I would have to look at what new products came out over the last 8 years. But maybe
Diet Coke's a perfect example. They have like 6 new flavors that just came out, like a blood orange and some lime, something like they're jumping on that bandwagon. Oreo has like 12 different new flavors that they've just all
what?
Yeah. What? Hold on. Just on the real.
I always think it's a joke. I'll read people like, maple nut chip when I'm like, where is that?
No, they really do. And
it's been 2. There's only been 2. The regular, original,
they have,
and the one with the vanilla wafers.
Extra stuff.
Double stuff. So there's 3 forever. How can you have 12?
They have peanut butter. They have mint. They have cookie.
What? Mint?
They have cookie butter. They have strawberry.
Pumpkin spice.
They have red velvet. They have a million different flavors now.
What?
Lemon ice Oreo.
Coconut Delight.
So are we entering a time where you need to now introduce your products and stuff in a binge?
You can't just push
everything is on demand.
I don't know.
Can you know it?
Well,
might be, you get the people to
but
try one.
You
and
should
they
start
feel like
looking
they have
now
to try
because
more.
what companies are doing single items and what companies aren't, and that is maybe a way.
I think to answer your question, and this just hit me, is yes, everything is now bingeable. Everything is on demand. If I just thought about it, like to go back to what you brought up with like online dating, even online dating is bingeable. You could spend 10 hours scrolling and set up a month's worth of dates. You can binge on that and then not go back on the platform. A friend of ours
But is it new or old? That's what I'm at.
It's new. A friend of ours just had his own algorithm where he'd build up matches, leave them in a queue, exhaust his current pool, and then go into the reserve pool. So, yeah, I think that's the answer. I think it's new and everything is bingeable.
I'm going to take a fashion approach and say a lookbook for a line all gets released at once. So the mindset of your spring line is the binge. I think that binging has been, and maybe we didn't identify that.
Maybe it's
now.
maybe it's become.
And I'm saying that from this point on, I'm going to do a lot of homework because I think that I'd like to know that the mindset of Netflix was what were they inspired by. And that to me is a very interesting.
Can the next album you drop be named The Binge?
I had Netflix.
The Purge and the Binge versus the Binge.
I started with Netflix when it was the DVDs, and probably everybody else did. Where you get your new DVD every couple of days. You get 2. I signed up for the expansion pack. I get 2 or 3 at a time or whatever it is. But I'm trying to remember. I was streaming also as soon as that came out as well. And I'm trying to remember when the first series came out. Did they release it, all of the episodes?
Yes.
Yes. Netflix,
once it went to streaming.
Yeah.
Steve, what was their original? Do they have an original like Netflix series?
What was the first
Is there a first Netflix original series?
Netflix, the binge didn't happen until Netflix started streaming. You couldn't binge on.
No, that's what I mean.
But could you send out all the? Could you send out all the DVDs? Could you rent it all? If
you could rent a show, but I don't think at that
they
time
were making their own content.
They had no original content.
Okay. So. We agree that
Marco Polo. It's House of Cards.
So binge has to be a show. We all agree, right? It can't be a movie.
No. Yeah, it's got to be.
Or a movie series.
Scroll all the way up.
Well, it's not by date.
Oh, okay. So there's a whole bunch of other
Just
stuff.
Google.
It looks like 2013 is roughly.
I guess you'd have to like search what was the original Netflix.
Scroll up to where they had the
original show?
the actual shows. It was one. No, but these are like children's shows.
No, they're all.
Just
it's
search
all mixed
what is
in.
the first Netflix produced series.
Yeah, there it is.
There it is. Barney. Barney is the first.
Totally bingeable.
It's House of Cards.
Like
2013.
how many
House of-
cuties
it's
came
House
out
of
of
Cards.
that show? It's like right.
And House of
Selena
Cards-
Gomez and
They released every
Demi Lovato.
episode at once.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was Netflix's whole
That
thing
was
with
their-
streaming.
their motto
There's a
the
whole
whole time,
platform
yeah.
for it. So yeah, they revolutionized.
Like they
it.
could have released one
They did it.
episode a week.
They didn't. They released it
That's
all
real-
at once. That's
very
been
interesting.
That has been their model.
Di-
Remember when you came on to talk about music?
That was interesting. It's great. No, I mean, like
This is usually how the podcast goes.
But now that's what I'm getting at is maybe you now drop an artist. Like, what happens if Biggie would have dropped all three of his albums at once? Would it have had this? Now this is going back to what I'm saying. Would it have had the same impact as opposed to the label putting out the singles and building up
Building single.
the artist?
There
to
are
you?
no singles anymore.
So I'm just
right?
saying to you is like if I said, hey, here's Biggie's 2 albums at once, and it was a double album. You could say 3, we could split it, whatever. But here it is all at once. Now what do you like?
You mean like if every artist started releasing anthologies when they first came out?
Yeah.
They're doing 3 albums at a pop.
That's interesting.
What would you? I'm just throwing that out
That's
there. It's like,
interesting.
you're saying everything's binge oriented. Should they do that now? Should they put out 3 separate albums
But they're only
and you
putting
choose
out-
what you want?
They're only putting out like one
I don't
song.
think that would work.
That's what it is.
Well,
It's all
I-
The
singles
reason
now.
why I think that is because
So why does it
there's
work
only-
in TV and why doesn't it work in music? I'm just asking.
way you
It's a-
consume
it's a
them are
legitimate-
different.
But yeah, exactly. And the
Kind of. I
way-
mean, you're watching it everywhere. You're listening everywhere now. There's no, you could listen to your shower, your car, your thing. You go. People read, listen to books, watch the shows. They're watching it on the train now. Everybody's watching a show on the
Right.
train. They're not really listening as much anymore.
I would say it wouldn't work for music, and my point would be that DMX is the only artist to release 2 platinum albums in under a year span. So there have been other artists that have released that kind of music and that volume of music, but none of them have had the success. He's the only one that's ever had that kind of success.
Here's the thing, right? It's exactly what we just talked about. We answered our own question.
Oh, we did.
Yes, we did. I think we did.
Bring it back.
So what you were saying before about music that from the like Led Zeppelin is still, you could still throw on an old Led Zeppelin album and feel the same way you did about it when it first dropped.
But what if they dropped all 8? That's what I'm saying.
So,
with
but
you.
this is what I mean
Or
though.
10.
Music is timeless. TV and shows,
Some TV shows are timeless.
some are, but what I'm saying
Like
is
Seinfeld.
The ones that are on network television.
Yes, that's what it is.
but
They're on TBS and
but
CBS.
that's not the point. That's not the point.
10 o'clock and 11 o'clock. Monday
That's not the
through
point.
Friday,
He's
every
asking
week.
if it
2
would be the
episodes
same.
in a row.
It wouldn't be because music has a longer shelf life than most other things. Timeless music, I feel like, transcends and lasts longer than a timeless TV show.
It's true.
There's way more timeless musicians than there are TV shows.
How many how many shows from the '60s do you watch? I mean, don't get me wrong. I know that there's a lot less because it was 4 stations and
Yeah, I
you
don't
know,
watch
that-
any TV shows from the 70s.
But
I
you
listen to music from
plenty
the
of
70s.
music from the '70s, right?
I think I watch Wonder Woman sometimes. Is that in the 70s
That's just
or
'cause
was that
Linda
80s?
But that's because you. But here's the thing, like for me,
My kids,
how about
they're
here's the perfect thing, and this goes by age, right?
That's a goof.
If I was born in the 80s, I'm not watching TV shows from the 70s, but I'll listen to music from then. Like, and now go up a rung. If you're born in the 90s, you're maybe not watching shows from the 80s.
So
but
you
you'll
won't-
listen to music from the 80s. It's got a little bit longer
So
staying life.
you won't watch Raging Bull from the 70s or any 70s movies?
Well,
Those are
well,
classics.
Well,
classic
then,
movies,
So then
but-
goes back. They were put out by a guy that believed in that director and that producer, and they put money behind it, and they made it a classic.
Right, but what I'm saying is your question about dropping music,
Yeah.
bingeable like that, I don't think it would work.
But
as well.
Netflix is dropping movies at a quick pace as well.
Right,
And
but I don't think
and
I said before
yeah.
that I don't think that you're going to see as much of.
So we're both agreeing on the same thing.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm saying that then I don't know if that's the way to drop stuff.
I think
I don't think you're dropping quality then anymore.
it depends on what.
That's just my own opinion. I
It depends on what your goal is.
I
If
think
your
the
goal-
binge dumbs it down a little bit. But
I
I've watched
agree.
shows like I gave you an example. I love that show that Judd Apatow put out. But I like it, but
The Netflix shows.
maybe I don't find myself wanting to watch it all at once, but that's also a time issue. You know, it's tough to binge, too, sometimes, let's be honest. If you are busy and you're working, you got a lot going on, it's really tough to binge unless you have that 1 week, you know, or no, it's post-New Year's Eve and I got time. But it isn't always every weekend easy to binge 8 shows or 9. I mean, it's tough, I think.
There are some people that, like,
Well, I'm sure
you see
there's always some, you know.
on Monday, the Friday after the show came out, they're like, oh, yeah, I finished the series. You're like, it was fucking 13 episodes.
So here we go.
Did
they do that because they believed in watching the art, or they wanted the Instagram social? And we're going back to what we said before. Are they into the social media aspect of saying that they watched the whole thing?
I think it's that.
Did they get anything out of it?
Probably not.
And to me, with art, I don't care what the art is. I think you got to get something out of it.
Yeah.
Or that's what I feel. I'm not saying it's what you
You
should
feel that way about porn?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I mean, we could go like, I don't like RedTube. Tube8 I like. YouPorn I like a lot more. Pornhub could be all right, but then it's you have to do a lot. They cut the clips at the end, which I don't like. So I mean, you know, there's quality. Then you go to the whole Taboo series, which is really interesting, but it's fucked up that you're watching it. And, you know.
Motherless.com. You have to go to Motherless. I'm just gonna take it there.
But up there, we have the list of like the most popular, obviously, like Netflix original shows, and I don't know that any of them are going to be classics. Like House of Cards.
I think
might be
Stranger
the
Things
only
is
one.
amazing. I think that show.
I haven't started
and
it
the
yet.
concept,
I haven't started
the
it yet.
music,
I love the
everything
music.
about it is
The second
is dope.
season
was a little different.
was a little,
But you
The
can
end
never-
of the
yeah.
second season
Yeah, I know
was
what
what
you're
threw
saying.
me off a little bit. Up until the last episode.
Okay, so is
I was like,
it because they give it to us all? They're not rush it out, but do you think if it was coming out, they were?
I think there was
Okay,
some holes in it.
is Walking Dead better than Stranger Things?
No.
The first 2 seasons of Walking Dead.
I
First
haven't,
2
I haven't
seasons?
seen
Well,
Stranger Things.
It fell off so much, though. Like, you're talking about just the first 2 seasons?
Yeah, no, I'm only going with just 2 the 2 seasons. Did they stand on their own more than Stranger Things?
I haven't finished Stranger Things, so I can't answer that appropriately.
Yes, right? I think so. Like, I could understand how right now you might be upset with The Walking Dead, but still the concept of it.
The concept of
Listen,
it was awesome.
I mean, I still watch it. I like it. It's different. It's not about zombies. It's about what you would do with other people in a high-tense situation. I get that can get tired, too. But I'm saying the first 2, I would say also 2, 3, 4. You know, it was a very interesting scope to that show. So, in other words, Stranger Things, which I love it, was it put out quicker? If they had more time, if they hyped up each show and made us more excited to see it, I'm just mean is I don't know if it's what's right or wrong. I'm not saying it's right or wrong.
Hold on, though.
I'm just
Hold on.
throwing it out there. I'm throwing out the question. I'm not saying I have the answer.
I'm going to use an example of the nightclub.
Okay.
The nightclub that everyone gets into and there's no line versus the nightclub that you might not get into and there's always a line. Which one lasts longer?
I don't think that's the thing. What I think because
Where?
you guys are
If you go to
approaching.
Ibiza, you go walk into Borough any
I
second.
guess so,
People are
I
still
guess
going.
so,
But
yeah.
but then we're getting into that.
I don't think that's
Is it-
the problem.
Is it the vibe? Is it what it's? Is it the island it's on?
No,
is it the
it's
concept? How hard is it to get there?
It's what we talked about already, right? It's what we talked about already about niches and things like that, right? Because everybody has things that they like, and you keep going. You keep mentioning like from the perspective of the people producing it. Are they producing it to binge only?
I think someone has to help make something
well,
better.
this
Yes,
is what I'm
that's
saying.
I
No, but
believe.
this
Or
is
stand
what I'm saying.
behind it.
Your
That's all.
question, I feel like, doesn't relate properly to it now that I think about it, because I think it's the way we are able to consume it that changes it, not because it's any better or worse. I think it's because of the avenues that we have in watching and consuming is what changes it. Not because it's any better or worse for
Do you
that.
think so? But if
So you don't think any classic albums, movies, or shows have come out over the last 10 years?
That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is the
That's
ability.
what I'm asking.
Right? No, but I
think
hear you.
that's my
I hear
question
you
is
saying
that-
like, are these things going to be that way, and are the people producing them thinking with that mindset? I think everyone's thinking with the same mindset of making it as good as they can. But I think that we now have so many different ways to consume. You can binge, you can this, you can that, and I think that is what's changing whether or not it will have that classic staying power. Not because they're made any differently.
But you don't have to do it that way. That's what I'm saying to you. Is you don't have to put out your binge show. It's your choice to put out the binge show.
Well, that's what I'm saying, though. You
So
have
I'm saying
that
you
option.
could wait and try and push it further, or go to a network.
But I don't
or
think
go
that
to-
affects whether it's good or bad.
Here's my question, too, though.
That's what I mean.
You know,
So you think that not rushing something, as opposed to maybe rushing something, doesn't affect the
No, I'm not even
final
saying.
product?
I'm saying they probably.
That's what I'm asking.
I'm saying they're
that's
not
my
even
basic-
rushing it. I'm saying they're
Oh,
just they finish it. Netflix buys it. Netflix just releases all of it.
Yeah,
If
that's what
NBC
that was
buys
gonna
it.
be my question
NBC
is-
releases it episode by episode weekly. It's just based on who buys it and how you can consume it.
Are they pushing the production to get it out quicker? I don't know that they actually
They're not.
are. I
We know for a fact.
Let's be honest, we don't know that answer.
I do. One of my best friends
Right.
works for Silver Cup Studios, and he's worked on several network TV shows and Netflix shows. There's no time constraints on those productions.
No, there isn't time constraints, but people do have their own time constraints because they're not.
No,
getting
but
as much
it's not
money,
done that way.
And
That's
they
what
put
I'm
it
saying.
out.
They're not doing it. They're not like, hey, you got to hurry up and rush this out so they can binge it.
Yeah, because
No. I'm not saying that. I'm saying
Now we're arguing.
No. Okay, this is what I do know. My cousin's Jack Araputo did all of Adam Sandler's executive producing.
know
of
them.
movies. He's from Patchogue.
My
so it's a Patchogue
my
boy.
friends, the
Great.
Sorensens, are best
Great.
friends with that family.
So Jack's my cousin. Okay, I know the projects they got into for Netflix as opposed to the movies and the big production. It's not looked at the same way. I'm not talking about a David Chappelle $40 million show, which I don't even think Dave Chappelle's Netflix show was that great. I thought what he did on Saturday Night Live was better than what he did even on Netflix, but that's another subject. But artistically, I'm not saying they're rushing it or being asked to rush it. I'm saying this is what you get for a Netflix show. It's this much money. Modern Family on ABC is this much money. Game of Thrones is this much money because it's on HBO. I'm saying there's a money thing, and when you have people working, the people doing the food, the subbing, the camera guys, whatever, they have to say, well, I'm on this project. How long do I want to be on this project? How much is this project worth? It ends up being a dollars and cents thing, which I think in life everything ends up being a dollars and cents thing, which I think is sad because I don't think, if we want to go back to what my original thing was, Led Zeppelin wasn't looking to compress their guitars to get on top 40 radio. They made that music. It was sloppy. It was messy. It was whatever. They just wanted to make this art. And I think that when Martin Scorsese did Mean Streets and he went downstairs and did the red scene, which that started red in movies. When something was crazy, Martin Scorsese is an auteur. He started the concept of a red room means something. Everyone since him, when you see red in a room and it's intense, was from Martin Scorsese. So I'm saying that you don't see that to me anymore because I think people aren't producing and making stuff the same way. I'm not just saying there's nothing good now, though, because I said there are new things that I like a lot, new shows, new movies. So there are people, there are some, but I just think when we try to rush everything out, I think it's more about, let me make my money, I got my mortgage payment, let's get this stuff done, let's go on to the next thing. And it's like, yo, I'm moving and shaking. I don't know if moving and shaking is always good. That's all I'm saying. I don't know that answer. You're saying you might know the answer. I'm saying I don't know the answer.
What I know, I get what you're saying.
That's all I'm trying to get.
I think that there's probably merit to every end of that, and there is some of that to all of it. But based on what I know, which obviously is not a lot, or enough, but it doesn't seem to me that, and I might have misunderstood your point. Actually, it doesn't seem to me that there's like a production end or a director end of people going like, all right, we got to binge this. From what I understood, it's like, all right, people make shows. Either Netflix buys it or NBC or whatever they buy it, and they release it how they see fit.
And the platform decides how to
release
it.
And that's what I was saying is I think that the platform on how you consume may change what could potentially become a classic show or not.
I think, though, what Theo was saying about the movies is very different for Netflix. Is extremely different. The way that they put out the movies and the time and the money that they put into them is definitely different than a Hollywood production. And
like Sci-Fi Network or stuff like,
it's like a step above those things. Like I don't think, other than Bright, which they shot beforehand thinking they were going to sell it to a studio, and then no studio wanted to buy it. Netflix wound up buying it.
Right.
That's the only one that was like that kind of production level. That dollar figure that is like a major studio movie.
Well, I thought that's what's happening now.
Well, now they have. I mean, now they are. Let's be honest. So now they are spending money, and there's people saying, "Let's go to Netflix,"
right?
And they have which I think is great for all. Just like doesn't Yahoo now have a whole TV series coming out? And there's all these
everything.
Like there's all
Yahoo,
these major
Netflix,
like everybody's
Hulu,
now coming out with.
They're
producing stuff for all these.
But I will say the movie industry is starting to push back a lot about the Netflix and the Hulus and things like that. They're pushing, I know Spielberg, maybe Scorsese, they're pushing that these movies don't be allowed for Oscar nominations. They're pushing because I guess because they're rocking the boat so much and taking away from the major studios and things.
What's a movie that's come out that was maybe I don't really know. I don't know the central. Does anybody know? Is there any Netflix original or not original movie that didn't come out in theaters that came out that has any pull or something? I don't know.
Well, I know documentaries specifically. Icarus just won an Academy Award,
and it never went to any film festival at all. It was only out on Netflix?
I'm pretty sure it was only out on Netflix.
Only out on Netflix. Yeah, all the film festivals, too, are pushing now that their movie, like, the movies aren't
They're mad are they mad that Netflix is taking money in their pockets? Is that
I
what
think
it is?
Yeah,
I think that's kind of what it is.
Why does everyone get mad about anything?
Yeah.
It's taking money out of my pocket. Now I'm mad at you.
But the thing is, like a documentary like Icarus 2, I don't know that it really would have done well at film festivals just because it's like, did you watch Icarus at all? It's about sports doping and how prevalent it is in the Olympics and how there's government-sponsored
I saw that one. That was I saw that.
Like, I don't know that would have, at Sundance, I don't know that people would have sat down and been into that, but I think
there are so many crazy documentaries of those things.
You think so?
I think Netflix allows it to find
anything
its crowd.
that you think is a doc.
So it'll
it's
find
amazing
its place.
what's out there. But
We watched a documentary on the
like, did Blackfish come out? Did Blackfish come out to the festivals, or was that only on Netflix?
No, it came out on the festivals first.
Okay, because that was killer.
That
But
was
I only saw that on Netflix.
Blackfish?
Yo, that shit broke my heart.
Sick as
That was
thing.
so
got you about
terrible.
the bad stuff
About
that goes on.
Telecom.
Yeah,
That was crazy. Insane.
I feel like Netflix consistently puts out like B+ to A- level content when you watch their original series.
The series are usually better than the movies.
They're worth binging, and you see them and you're like, oh yeah, I can't wait to see what's on the next episode. Like, even if you have to go to bed or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I watch Billions, and I think that Billions, and that's on Stars.
That show is Showtime. It's banging.
I feel like that's
that
the most,
show is great.
I worked
written
great
actors.
I worked I worked for the second largest investment bank in the world, and their characters, each character that plays a role, and that's exactly how those types of people are.
Yeah.
They've done their research.
Those guys have done 3 years of research on people and got stories from every single. They were going into the toilet to guys on Wall Street. They were pissing, telling them these stories, and I swear to God, like the stories, they were writing down exactly what you're seeing. Same stories, where I got my car, how I fucked this guy at the thing. Legit, but that's what I'm saying is I don't know if that's being done on that level.
I don't think it is.
Time and the
I don't
effort
think it is.
to make, because I think Billions Show is amazing show.
Billions, the other show that I really enjoyed, it's actually on Netflix now, but it was originally on AMC. I think this overall is the best series ever created for television. Mad Men. And
that was a good show. The thing, yeah.
Should I binge on it?
You should. But it didn't get good for the first 3 seasons. For the third season was like where I sort of started to get into it, and it for anyone
that was a huge show though.
Yeah, it was huge. They did 10 seasons.
Yeah, I was thinking
it did 10 seasons, but. And I think
they're not doing new Mad Men.
No. But now you can watch it on. They have all 10 seasons on Netflix. But if you watch one episode,
Steve's yelling at you.
It's 10. It's 10 seasons. It's 100% 10.
See, I would love what you just said
doesn't
about
lie.
the Fuller House. I would love to see if can they take a show like Mad Men and now create season 8 Netflix original. That would be the best test to see. Is a heady, real written show with a super fan base that was there. Can they find a way to bring it to Netflix and then go further with it? That would be interesting.
Yeah. I think they can.
They did that where it gets critical acclaim?
There was...
critical acclaim.
No, but that's what I mean. You got to get the critical acclaim because then if it's just...
Well, but this is
Not
now
just
with what
more binge-worthy crap.
But you can't say that now. Here's the thing: is
Well,
like
I can. That's what I'm trying to get at. I think that you have to
With
judge
what Chris
it.
just said, they're trying to take critical acclaim away from them. They don't want to let them in these.
No, but people can still write articles about it. They'll never stop the media, which is why you want the media to be free because it could always write about.
Well,
anything
House
they
of
want.
Creds gets critical acclaim, and that's a Netflix
No,
original.
no, I'm saying it does, but I'm saying like taking something that was on network and can they put the same energy and skill into it to take it further?
I think they
I don't know. I don't.
Because I think so.
yeah.
I think they can for sure.
I mean, because there are enough shows on there. I mean, House of Cards, Orange is the New Black, Narcos
is
Stranger
the shit.
Things. These are all
I
critically
lost
acclaimed
interest
shows.
in a lot of them, though. Like Narcos, I lost interest.
You know the thing
in.
though is
Making a
they might be,
Murderer.
and critically acclaimed. You can get your press now. It's not like the days of like there is a little bit of that too. Like we can pay to get press.
Oh, of
There's
course,
no one really shooting it. So for as much as you're saying like I don't. Now this is the other thing. I think the public shoots more than the press shoots on stuff.
100%.
I think more writers are up the dick of a lot of people, music people, to get that thing. Oh, I got to get Avicii. I got to get that thing. And they don't dog them like it used to be like, oh, this album is ridiculous. It's not really organized.
No one's critical of that stuff anymore.
And it seems like because you want to get that interview, you want to get that first take.
100%.
I don't want to say anything about LeBron because I want to get the first interview. Or, and it's like,
oh, sportscasters are the worst.
Well, and that's what I mean.
They won't say that.
Yeah.
You almost never hear, like, a sportscaster be critical of something that a player did because
I don't mean nasty. I'm saying
not nasty. Critical,
yes, like I don't like this the way they did it. I don't like the offense how it was run against.
Right, they'll never be critical of their play. If they do something off the field, that's different.
That's
completely
hands
different.
off.
But
I mean, you're allowed to do that.
Gloves are off. Anything goes at that point. But they won't be critical, especially somebody like a LeBron. Somebody that's the top level.
Yeah.
They're never going to criticize what they did. They're always, they'll always try to spin it in a positive way for those guys.
Because I think they want to get that next thing.
Absolutely. They don't want to be blackballed. They don't want to, they don't want to never.
I mean, he does get dogged for certain stuff, but I mean, in a whole, I think a lot of guys want to get that next thing.
Yeah.
I think there's an agenda. I guess there's always been an agenda, but I just think there's more of an agenda nowadays.
I agree with that.
But I don't know. We'll see.
All right, well, now that we've talked about a million other things, Theo, what's going on with you?
Well, I have a new Netflix show.
It's totally binge-worthy crap.
It's binge-worthy. No, we're getting ready for the summer. I mean, we got all the big summer spots, so everybody's excited about the summer, which is Long Island is our only claim to fame now. It seems as having our 3 months of fun or 3.5 months of fun. And, yeah, but there's a lot of stuff brewing, actually. I'm going to be an entertainment director of the Tobay Beach location, and they're looking to do they have, like, these big piece of property. They have an ocean side. They have the bay side, and they wanted – it's not going to be as much as – like a DJ-driven thing. They're going to have music, but it's like trying to start this hub over there and help them do stuff with town-oriented and bring in – I'm looking to do like a big show, like a big show, like something different, something outside. I want to do this like half-pike skate thing with Converse and Vans and like I don't think we have enough of that in our backyard.
No, I agree.
Like I feel that like I feel it's like we go all over. You see these great things everywhere, but then when it comes to us, it's nothing like –
we have the same thing over and
cool
over
and
again.
different.
Yeah.
Go to the bar, go to the beach, drink
which again, I'm not knocking that too. I love like the terrestrial closeness of there's my bartenders and they all go over to Ocean Beach or this thing or the Nautical Mile. That's great. Yeah. I'm just saying that it'd be nice if we had a couple curveballs in there in our own backyard.
Yeah,
and that's what I'm hoping that this piece of property can yield, and that's what I'm looking to try and help with because I think that it's nice to have. Because I think when you do go to something big, then you go afterwards to all the other spots.
Right.
So if it's like, I just went to that crazy, I don't know, they brought a plane there and they did a Top Gun thing and whatever, Tom. And then afterwards, I'm going down to the Nautical Mile to get some drinks. So it's like you're out and about. It creates you're not just staying in your house, going out and doing stuff.
Like the tourism effect.
I mean, which I think that we need more of that. I think it'd be nice to see, to me, at least more of that type of stuff. That's why like all these things open up. The MacArthur thing. I'm glad the Nassau Coliseum redid itself. I can't wait to get the the Islander thing. Like having big venues that in the wintertime when you feel like there's nothing to do or where you take your...
There's something to go do.
I think it'd be nice to see more stuff. And with you guys in any of the MMA stuff, I'm sure it'd be great to have more venues to be, fighting in and all that type of stuff. So, all these things for the island I think are good. To
Absolutely.
Me. At least I think so.
I agree.
It gives all the people here more to do. It also brings more people in from other places. It does
gives you something else to be proud of too. Like look what Long Island's doing. We're doing cool shit.
Totally. Which we get dogged a lot. I think.
I agree.
And I think it's a shame. I think it's time to say we can all talk and complain on social media, but if you don't get off your ass and do it,
you got to do it,
or march, or anything. Like that's why all these marches. I don't care what the march is.
At least there are people doing something.
That people are doing something. That's all I can say is whatever it is, even if you're whatever it is, how bad it might be or something. But at least people are getting up.
It's better than complaining and not doing it.
I like when people do it. So any type of movement to me is good to see at least. Because we feel like we were really sitting back for a while.
Definitely.
Really just chilling out. And at least now you could start the movement with social media, and then the secondary is then actually physically being there. So I hope that there's this renaissance coming. I hope.
I feel like people aren't.
All the towns like Patchogue does their 5 at 5, and then Farmingdale. It's good to see that.
They're making an effort, and they're seeing that they have to make a concerted effort in order to bring people in. Whereas I don't know if before people were just more apt to go out, because I talk about it with my father, who's in his mid-60s now, and he talks about going to see bands. Oh, Tuesday night was that bar's night, and we used to go out on Tuesday nights. And then there was this other bar that was like, if you were going out Wednesday night, that's where you went. You knew there was going to be 500 to 1,000 people there. Yeah. They always had a band. And now I'm like, try going out somewhere on a Wednesday night now on Long Island and finding 500
fucking
people.
karaoke.
It's tumbleweed.
Yeah.
It's like, but as a home, okay, so here we go. As any homeowners here, okay, how psyched are you, though, that your town is not crazy, that you're happy that you don't have, like, a lot of drama and stuff going on. Like, there's a evil catch-22.
Yeah,
so
I
it's
guess
like, so I don't, I think you could be open-minded
it's
about it.
nice to have something to do. Like, the option to have something to do. Like, right now, my wife and I, like, we have 2 children that are small. We get a babysitter, or they're at my parents' house for the night. It's, what should we do this evening? And 10, 15, 20 years ago, if it was
Nobody says
summertime,
that. They say, what should we do tonight? No one says evening.
tonight, whatever.
I have to get on my slacks for an evening out with the wife.
We're going to look dapper. But we
turn on the television
love you.
and see what we can do this
if
evening.
If it was the summertime, it would have been, we're going to go out to the Hamptons.
Yeah.
We're going to get something to eat, and then we'll go out.
Oh, it's
to one of the
Friday. We'll go to
nightclubs.
tavern.
Yeah,
it's Friday. We'll
at
the door.
Exactly,
exactly.
Yeah. Or if it was the wintertime, it would be, we're going to Sahara or Ice or one of the clubs, any of the Mirage, any of the places that were on Long Island. And now we don't really know where to go. We could go to some of the hipster bars in Patchogue, but we're also 15 or 10 years older than everybody that's in there. It's not really our scene, but there's no real, I feel like there's no real, like, classy-ish type venues. And you remember going out in the 90s and the early 2000s. I remember picking friends up when we were, like, 20, 21 years old. Some guy would come out of the house and he'd have on, like, you'd be like, yo, those aren't pants. They're tan. No, those are cargo pants. They got cargo pants. Go back inside and put something else on because you're not coming with me.
I'm not waiting on the line for 25 minutes and then the door guy telling you, nope, sorry, you can't come in with those pants.
You can't wear those sneakers. They're diesel. That's a sneaker. You can't. Diesel's not a shoe. It's a sneaker. Go put on black dress shoes.
Right.
Like, and there's no real place that really takes that type of crowd right now.
No, I hear you.
And I feel like Long Island as a whole, I don't want to say we're like slumming it at this point, but it's like guys wearing like cut off jeans and like tank tops in bars, and that's the bulk of the crowd that's young and going out right now.
Yeah.
I don't think that's just Long Island though. I think that's just the the times that we live in right now.
Why does everybody get dressed to go to Vegas then?
Atlantic City, they make you dress up too.
I consider that a hot spot. Would we agree that Vegas is bumping?
Agreed. Just as many people not dressed.
Not at any of the parties that are big. What you see the nucleus of what there are day parties, and even the day parties.
You can't go to the pool party with basketball shorts on.
Steve
They won't let you in.
Yeah. Steve says that we just got out of a recession. No one wants to turn away money.
That's.
You want to pay me money to come into my club? I don't give a fuck what you're wearing. Pay me. Because if
you got Timberlands on and a backwards hat, you're gonna say you'll be saying something different the next week.
I think he's asking where is the place where the group of people that do want to get dressed up.
Where do they go?
And there are we go to a nice steak restaurant. You really can't wear a baseball hat.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess if if you're a star, they'll let you in there. But most people are somewhat at least collared shirt, right? It's dope. Tight slit. Yeah, well, I mean, which is nothing. No, but I mean, you would want to go out with your girl and expect not to be sitting next to someone who's wearing a Champion sweatshirt or something.
Yeah.
So
and that's
I
dinner,
hear you
but
saying
where do you go after dinner then? There's really nowhere.
But we're back to what we're saying. I feel it's a lot of pseudo fusion gastro hangout spots. But where is the other option? And
it's not there. I want a members only like dinners club, like something from like a throwback to the 30s or 40s.
Well, in Manhattan now you got Soho House, so you got there are cool. So now we'll say the other side of Manhattan, whereas they don't have, let's say, to the public 8 till they have dope spots like that
we can't get into and shit.
They're playing heady dope dancehall stuff and really cool house on this night, and they're doing so
maybe it'll come back out to the island.
Well, why can't? Yeah, I mean, listen.
Or what if some of us have to do it at
Well,
some point?
it sounds like to me that you have to fucking start it, Theo.
Well, I can't say too much, but there is a mindset, and there are young people, and there are these places, and I think that this is coming. I think you have to set a place up for the next mindset. I also, though, don't believe in shitting on the other thing. I think that is not cool. I think it's great to be different, and I don't think you put someone down because they're not different.
And I think there's room for
everything.
everything.
And I do. I think we have, like we said, we have millions of people out here. You could wear your tank top out over there on the nautical mile, and I think you could wear your nice collared shirt over there by the thing.
But that's the thing.
I think
I want to wake up.
pendulum. It's the pendulum swinging back and forth. And like when I was younger and you were younger, late 90s, early 2000s, it was everyone's got to get real dressed up. And then there were the people that didn't dress appropriately that I mentioned earlier that came out. And they were now the pendulum swung the other way where it's, all right, we could just wear T-shirts and jeans everywhere.
Well, there's a whole generation of people out there right now that are probably 19 to 25 that don't own a collared shirt, that don't own a suit, that don't, like, they just never really... I have a kid that's 22. He works for me, and he's like, I don't own a suit. I'm like, how the fuck do you not own a suit? Like, what the fuck kind of shit is that? I'm like, how do you not own a suit? He's like, I don't know. Me and my friend, like, we don't go anywhere. We don't do anything that, I don't own a suit. None of my friends have gotten married yet. Like, I don't.
That's
own
interesting. Because I thought nowadays it seems like it's so easy to get a cool suit.
Oh, it is.
There's so many amazing, pretty cool looking suit companies. They make it to fit you.
And you go get them everywhere. They have, like, if you go to the Calvin Klein store, they have, like, all different size pants.
I'm even saying, I'll get super. I think online, you put your measurements in. You don't have to do dick, and you just send it out, and it comes to your house.
It's interesting. I feel like when I think about this, now, I could be wrong, but it's just a thought, and it kind of goes back to what we started with. It makes me wonder if, a lot of this new age stuff is very, like, soft and no judgment and this and that. And it's like,
I'm real judgy.
People,
Dave.
but what I mean is, like, people now, a younger generation almost reject standards.
Yeah.
Right? Like, if there's a standard, you can't come into this place unless you're dressed appropriately. It's like, it's a microaggression.
Yeah,
You're
don't
judging me.
tell
It's
me
like,
what I can do and
yeah,
can't do.
I think a lot of that is prevalent, and that might be some of it. Because I like that you could, especially in the summer, you could wake up in the summer and in the afternoon, go to Fire Island in a tank top and shorts. Cool. You could come home halfway through, throw on a nice fucking dapper thing, and head to the nightclub, and you get both of those things. But I think maybe some of, and I'm not saying all of it, but some of it I think stems from that. These younger generations where, like, hey, there's a standard to be met in this club.
Yeah.
And it's like, don't put, it's a microaggression, and there's soft little fucking motherfuckers.
Yeah. It's I should be able to wear whatever I want.
Yeah.
So is
the
owner kowtowing to that?
Yeah.
It comes down to what Steve said almost in a way. It comes down to the dollar.
I mean, think about how many
So
clubs
you need
and
to
bars.
be firm in what you believe in. So you need to be doing stuff for the art of what you believe in.
Yeah. How many clubs and bars have you worked in that had a dress code at the door posted? Think about it. And think about can you think of I can't think of any, like, now.
Oh, now?
Yeah. No, I'm saying,
no,
like,
it's an assumption. It's an assumption when you do Atlantic City.
Yeah.
It's an assumption when you do a couple of the clubs in Manhattan. Like,
right.
I got to do a button-up shirt and pants.
What am I saying?
When I worked the door at the Nutty, there was we had a dress code printed,
Marquee?
a huge ass dress code printed, and it was right there at the door. And
One Oak sometimes.
Yeah, One Oak.
Not a lot, but
there's just there isn't that anymore. Like, people.
But he's right. Like, I think that the trend of being trendy and sneakers and dope, like, you're buying a pair of Nikes that might be $250, $300, $400, and the door guy says, oh, I can let this guy in. He has enough money to afford those shoes. He's got on that new line by Pharrell from Adidas, the one piece, but then he's got a blazer on. So we'll let him in because he's got the three, and he's going to go drop $2 at a drop right at the bar, and then go sit down and maybe get a bottle.
You know what else is happening too?
Yeah.
And I work at a place, and I've seen this. They specifically have DJs, but then they also have bands playing the same night, and they specifically have bands come in to avoid certain riffraff. But on nights when it's slow, they let the riffraff in.
Yeah, of course,
because the riffraff will still buy drinks.
That's that does happen. I mean,
but you know what I think? I think you need to come back again and we need to touch on all these subjects another time. We need to do it again.
I was
We
gonna
need to
say,
do it again.
We're 2 hours in already.
I know, geez, I'm sorry. We got
I
to
think
go.
so. So now you're on the hook. That means you have to come back. You
Yeah.
got to come back and talk music, and
We'll
you got to
talk
come
about
back.
We will have an anti-Netflix, no comment, nothing that sounds like Netflix or Hickflix or.
No movies.
But yeah, since we're almost at 2 hours.
Yeah, sorry about that.
No, man. That's the whole point of this. Look,
This is exactly what we want. This is
yeah. If you ask me, and this could be just me, but I think, if I was, if I'm a fan of you and I only know you from your music, I just saw a whole new side of you now. And it could be
Fuck that guy.
It could go either way, right? Yeah, it could be fuck that guy. It could be like, yo, what he said. I thought the same thing. I can't wait to come and fucking
that's
annoy
cool.
him in his
No,
DJ
yeah.
booth and tell him about it.
Come on. Yo, man, I don't like Binge that much.
he's like, fuck you. I love
Stranger Things second season needed another 3 months of production. They rushed it. Last
Now
year.
play my song, bitch.
Play my song. That's funny. No, I had a great time, guys. Really, it was a lot of fun. And we
No, thank you
definitely
for coming.
touched a lot of fun things that are going to happen in the future. We can look back 10 years and say, that conversation, look which way it went.
It's on the internet
Or
forever
8
now.
8 more years. We need 8 more years of Netflix.
So, anybody you want to thank? Any shout outs? Anything? Anything
plug,
you want to plug?
Plug the Instagram.
Oh, yeah. I Theo is my Instagram. My website's theotheotheo.com. Real simple. What we're doing? I had stuff for you guys.
2 hours later.
I was with the owner of Stereo Garden. This is a huge country act, Rodney Atkins.
Oh, cool.
I got tickets, Rodney Atkins. There you go, guys.
Oh, thank you very much.
There you go.
Making it rain.
But we're Memorial Day weekend going to be out at Tropics. That'll be the big kickoff Memorial Day weekend on the Sunday, and I'm doing the next week an event with Flo Rida and Gronkowski up in Mohegan Sun,
Wow.
which will be really dope. With an artist I work at, MK from here from Long Island. We're doing a dope New England show, so that should be a couple cool different things, and we're going to be kicking off that Turtle Bay location, which will be, I think, kind of cool. The Toby Beach location. I think that's going to be interesting too.
You're throwing
There's
it
a lot.
back to Turtle
Scotty's
Bay.
got Scotty's got Cedar Beach. There's a lot of,
cool.
like I said, there's a lot of
Yeah.
different stuff going on this year. That's not as cool and organized as like a nightclubby type of those specific. But back to what we said, I think there's going to be an array of stuff for a complete different crowd, like